My beloved child, before you do anything else, be still for a moment and listen to my voice. This message is not an accident. It did not appear before you because of chance, luck, or coincidence. Long before this day arrived, I knew the exact moment when your eyes would find these words. I knew the questions hidden deep inside your heart. I knew the burdens you have carried in silence. I knew the nights when you smiled for everyone else while quietly hurting inside. I have seen every tear that no one else noticed, and I have heard every prayer that never left your lips. That is why I have brought you here. This special message is meant for you. Perhaps you have been wondering if anyone truly understands what you are going through. Perhaps you have asked yourself if your life still has purpose, if your waiting has meaning, or if your best days have already passed. Maybe you have been searching for a sign, hoping for something that would remind you that you are not forgotten. My beloved child, let this be that reminder. Let this be the gentle whisper that reaches your soul and tells you that I have never taken my eyes off you. Do not rush away from this moment. There is something I want to place inside your heart that cannot be found in the noise of the world. While others have been speaking fear, I am speaking peace. While doubt has tried to convince you that nothing will change, I am inviting you to lift your eyes beyond what you can currently see. What looks impossible to you has never been impossible to me. What feels delayed has never escaped my attention. Even when you believed nothing was happening, I was quietly working in ways your eyes could not yet recognize. You may not understand why certain doors closed or why some prayers seemed unanswered. You may still carry questions that have no clear explanation. Yet I ask you not to measure my love by your circumstances. Measure it by my constant presence. I have remained beside you through every disappointment, every victory, every setback, and every new beginning. Even when you felt alone, my hand was guiding you through paths you could not see. Today I am inviting you into something greater than fear, greater than regret, and greater than uncertainty. I am inviting you to trust my heart before you fully understand my plan. This journey we are about to take together is not simply a collection of comforting words. It is an invitation to see yourself through my eyes instead of through the weight of your past or the opinions of others. I know who you are because I formed you with love long before anyone else knew your name. So stay with me, my beloved child. Do not let distraction pull you away. Open your heart, quiet your worries, and allow my voice to become louder than every fear that has followed you. There is a reason you are here at this very moment, and before this message is finished, you will begin to understand that I have been reaching toward you all along. This special message is, and always has been, meant for you. My beloved child, from the very first moment of your life until this very breath you are taking now, my eyes have never left you. There has never been a single day when I turned away from you or forgot your name. Even when you believed you had been abandoned, I remained beside you with a love that never weakened. My presence has been closer than the air around you, though there were seasons when your pain became so loud that you could no longer hear my gentle voice. I have watched you carry burdens that no one else knew existed. I saw the moments when you held back your tears because you did not want anyone to worry about you. I heard the quiet sighs that escaped your lips after everyone else had gone home. I understood the thoughts you could not explain, the disappointments you could not put into words, and the questions that echoed through your heart late at night. While others only saw your smile, I saw the courage it took for you to keep going. While they admired your strength, I knew how tired you truly felt. Never believe that your silent suffering went unnoticed. Every lonely step, every difficult decision, every hidden battle has unfolded before my loving eyes. I was there when you felt overlooked. I was there when doors closed unexpectedly. I was there when relationships changed, when dreams seemed to slip through your fingers, and when hope became difficult to hold. Through every moment, I stayed close, surrounding you with a love that never depended on your circumstances. There were times when you asked, "Where are you?" You searched for dramatic signs, waiting for the sky to open or for everything to suddenly become clear. Yet often my greatest work happened quietly. I was strengthening your heart while you believed you were simply surviving. I was shaping your character while you thought nothing was changing. I was protecting you from paths that would have wounded you more deeply, even though you could not understand why certain opportunities disappeared. Think of a shepherd walking beside a small lamb through a thick valley. The lamb cannot see beyond the towering hills. It does not know where the safest path lies or where danger waits. It simply keeps walking, sometimes trembling, sometimes uncertain. But the shepherd sees everything. He notices every hidden cliff, every thorn, every wild animal lurking beyond sight. Because he sees what the lamb cannot, he gently guides each step. My beloved child, you have often been like that lamb, and I have always been your faithful shepherd. The path may have seemed confusing to you, but I have never once been confused about where I was leading you. Even in moments when you stumbled, I did not stop loving you. I did not measure you by your failures or define you by your mistakes. The world may keep records of what went wrong, but my heart continually reaches toward restoration. I have never looked at you and seen only your weaknesses. I see the beautiful person I created, the one who is still growing, still learning, and still becoming everything I designed you to be. Do you remember the times when unexpected peace came into your heart even though nothing around you had changed? That was me. Do you remember the moments when help arrived just when you needed it most? That was me. You remember finding strength to face another day when you believed you had nothing left to give. That strength did not come from your own ability alone. I was carrying you even when you believed you were walking by yourself. My beloved child, there is something I need you to understand today. You are not forgotten. You have never been forgotten. Your name is precious to me. Your life matters to me. Your future is safe within my hands. The chapters you have already lived do not determine how your story will end. I am still writing with wisdom, love, and purpose. So release the fear that tells you I have been distant. Let go of the lie that says I stopped caring. Every heartbeat has unfolded beneath my watchful gaze, and every tomorrow is already known by me. As you continue listening to my voice, you will begin to see that I have been guiding you through every season, not as a distant observer, but as a loving father who has never stopped watching over his beloved child. My beloved child, there are questions resting deep within your heart that you have never spoken to another soul. Some of them have never even been whispered in prayer because you were afraid to admit how deeply they troubled you. Yet before those questions ever formed in your mind, I already knew them. I know every thought that visits you in the quiet hours. I know the doubts that try to steal your peace. I know the fears you hide behind a smile, hoping no one will notice the weight you are carrying. Nothing about your heart is hidden from me, and nothing you feel causes me to turn away. I know there have been moments when you wondered if you were enough. You have compared yourself to others and questioned your own value. You have looked at your life and wondered why your journey seems slower, harder, or more uncertain than the paths of those around you. Sometimes you have asked, without saying the words, "Have I missed my purpose? Have I disappointed you? Will things ever become better?" My beloved child, hear me clearly. Your worth has never been measured by your success, your possessions, or the opinions of people. Your value has always been found in the simple truth that you are mine, and my love for you has never depended on your performance. I know about the prayers that seem to rise into silence. I know how discouraging it felt when you waited for answers that did not arrive as quickly as you hoped. There were days when you tried to remain hopeful, but disappointment slowly crept into your heart. You wondered whether I had heard you at all. Yet every prayer reached me. Not one was lost. Not one was ignored. Sometimes the answer you seek requires a path you cannot yet understand. Sometimes I protect you through delays that feel painful in the present but will become blessings when you can finally see the whole picture. Think of a child learning to weave a beautiful tapestry. Looking from underneath, all the child can see are loose threads, knots, and tangled colors. Nothing appears organized or meaningful. But the master weaver sees the front of the tapestry, where every thread has its perfect place, creating a masterpiece beyond imagination. My beloved child, you often judge your life from underneath the tapestry. You see loose ends, unanswered questions, and confusing seasons. I see the finished work. I know exactly where every thread belongs, and I promise you that nothing you have experienced has been wasted. I also know the questions you carry about the future. You wonder what tomorrow will bring. You wonder whether you will have the strength to face what lies ahead. Sometimes your mind races through possibilities that have not even happened, and fear begins writing stories that were never meant to become reality. But I am already present in every tomorrow that concerns you. Before you arrive there, I will already be waiting. The grace you need for the future will meet you exactly when you need it. I have never asked you to carry tomorrow's burdens with today's strength. Do not be ashamed of your questions. Questions do not frighten me. They do not weaken my love for you. A loving father is not offended when his child seeks understanding. Bring your honest heart before me. Tell me about your confusion. Tell me about your disappointments. Tell me about the dreams that seem impossible now. I would rather hear your honest heart than see you pretend to be fearless while silently carrying unbearable burdens. Remember that faith is not the absence of questions. Faith is choosing to trust my heart even when every answer has not yet been revealed. It is believing that my goodness remains unchanged, even during seasons when your circumstances seem uncertain. Every step you take in trust brings you closer to the purpose I have prepared for you. So, my beloved child, release the pressure to understand everything today. You do not need every answer before taking the next step. You only need to know that I am with you, that I love you without measure, and that I will never stop guiding you. The questions you have carried in silence are already safe within my hands, and in the right time, I will replace your uncertainty with peace, your confusion with clarity, and your waiting with the joyful understanding that I was leading you all along. My beloved child, I know that waiting has not been easy for you. There have been seasons when it seemed as though time stood still while everyone else moved ahead. You watched doors open for others while the ones you hoped would open for you remained closed. You celebrated the victories of those around you, yet deep within your heart you quietly wondered, when will my time come? I heard those thoughts even when you never spoke them aloud. I saw the patience you tried to hold on to, even as disappointment whispered that perhaps nothing would ever change. But I want you to know this today. Every delay you have experienced has remained under my loving care. You have often believed that waiting meant I was absent, but that has never been true. Waiting has never been proof that I forgot you. It has never been a sign that I stopped working on your behalf. While you measured the passing days, I was preparing moments that could not arrive before the right season. I was arranging people, shaping circumstances, protecting your heart, and strengthening your character in ways that could only happen through time. What felt like stillness to you was filled with my unseen activity. Think about a seed that is planted deep beneath the soil. The person who plants it cannot see what is happening below the surface. Day after day, The ground appears unchanged. There is no visible sign of growth. Someone passing by might assume the seed hath been forgotten or that nothing is happening at all. But beneath the earth, something remarkable is taking place. Tiny roots are reaching downward before the first green leaf ever reaches upward. The unseen work comes first because it creates the strength needed for future growth. If the seed tried to rise before its roots were ready, the first strong wind would destroy it. My beloved child, many times you have been like that hidden seed. You looked at your life and thought nothing was changing because you could not see what I was doing beneath the surface. But I have been growing roots inside you. I have been building patience where frustration once lived. I have been creating wisdom through experiences you did not understand. I have been teaching you compassion through your own pain, humility through your waiting, and endurance through every difficult season. These quiet transformations are preparing you for blessings that require a stronger heart than the one you had before. There are blessings that arrive too early and become burdens instead of gifts. There are opportunities that seem perfect until they appear before you are prepared to carry them. Because I love you, I will never hand you something that destroys the very future I have planned for you. My timing is not designed to frustrate you. My timing is designed to protect you. What I prepare for you deserves the right foundation, and I care too deeply about your future to rush what must first be made strong. I know you have looked back at certain disappointments with sadness. You remember the opportunities that disappeared, the relationships that ended, and the plans that never became reality. At the time, those losses felt impossible to understand. But if you could see your life through my eyes, you would recognize how many dangers I quietly moved away from your path. Some closed doors were acts of mercy. Some unanswered prayers were loving protection. Some delays rescued you from pain you never knew was waiting beyond the path you wanted to take. Do not allow comparison to steal your peace. Every life unfolds according to a different purpose. The clock you keep watching is not the one I follow. I do not measure your life against anyone else's journey. I know exactly what you need, exactly when you need it, and exactly how each season is shaping the person you are becoming. Your story was never meant to be a copy of someone else's. It is a unique masterpiece that I am writing with perfect wisdom and endless love. So when you are tempted to believe that you have fallen behind, remember the seed beneath the soil. Remember that hidden growth is still growth. Remember that silence does not mean abandonment. And remember that my hands have never stopped working, even when your eyes could not see the evidence. Trust the seasons I have chosen for you, my beloved child, because every delay has been held within my care, and when the time is right, what I have prepared will rise with a beauty, strength, and purpose that only my perfect timing could create. My beloved child, before anyone else ever spoke your name, I already knew it. Before your first breath filled your lungs, I had already looked upon your life with love. You may have forgotten moments that shaped your journey, but I have forgotten none of them. Every chapter, every joy, every wound, every victory, and every disappointment has remained before me. Through it all, there has never been a single moment when I stopped calling your name with tenderness. Even when you wandered, even when you doubted, even when you believed you had become too distant from me, my voice continued reaching toward you. There were seasons when the noise of life became so overwhelming that my gentle whisper seemed impossible to hear. Responsibilities demanded your attention. Worries filled your thoughts. Regrets replayed themselves in your mind until they almost became louder than hope. You may have wondered if my silence meant I had stepped away. But my beloved child, I was never silent because I had left you. Often, I spoke in the quiet places your anxious heart had forgotten how to notice. I was in the unexpected kindness of a stranger, I was in the strength that carried you through another difficult morning. I was in the peaceful moment that arrived without explanation. I was in every reminder that you were not alone. Have you ever noticed how a loving parent calls for a child who has wandered too far? The parent's voice is not filled with anger but with concern. It is not meant to shame the child but to guide them safely home. Even if the child cannot immediately see the parent, the familiar voice becomes a pathway through confusion. My beloved child, that is how I have always called to you. My voice has never been one of rejection. It has always been a voice of invitation, leading you toward life, peace, and hope. Sometimes you believed that your mistakes had changed the way I looked at you. You carried guilt as though it had become part of your identity. You allowed failures to convince you that you were no longer worthy of my love. But listen carefully to me now. Your mistakes have never been stronger than my mercy. Your failures have never exhausted my compassion. I do not look at you through the eyes of condemnation. I look at you through the eyes of a father who sees beyond every broken moment into the beautiful future he is still creating. Think of the story of a shepherd who notices that one sheep has wandered away from the flock. The shepherd does not celebrate the loss or simply replace the missing one. He goes searching because every sheep matters. He calls gently through the hills, patiently listening for even the smallest response. When he finally finds the frightened sheep, he does not punish it for getting lost. He lifts it onto his shoulders and carries it home with joy. My beloved child, I have always been the shepherd for you. Whenever fear, disappointment, or confusion pulled you away from peace, my heart pursued you. My desire has never been to push you farther away. It has always been to bring you closer. Even now, as you listen to my words, I am calling your name once again. Not because I have forgotten who you are, but because I want you to remember who you are in me. You are not defined by your darkest day. You are not the labels others have placed upon you. You are not the sum of every wrong decision you have made. You are my beloved child, deeply known, endlessly loved, and forever welcomed into my presence. There will be voices in this world that compete for your attention. Some will tell you that you are not enough. Others will encourage fear, pride, or despair. Still others will tempt you to believe that your value depends upon success or approval. But my voice remains unchanged. I call you by name, not because of what you have accomplished, but because you belong to me. My love does not rise and fall with your circumstances. It is constant, faithful, and everlasting. So when you feel uncertain, pause and listen. When your heart grows weary, remember my voice. When regret tries to pull you backward, answer my call instead. I am not standing far away, waiting for you to earn your way back into my presence. I am already beside you, reaching out with open arms, inviting you to walk with me one step at a time. My beloved child, I have never stopped calling your name, and I never will. As long as you have breath, my invitation remains the same. Come closer, trust my heart, and discover the peace that has been waiting for you all along. My love has always been pursuing you, and it always will. My beloved child, I can see how tired you have become, not only in your body but deep within your heart. There is a weariness that sleep cannot remove, a heaviness that follows you even when everything around you seems quiet. You have carried responsibilities that stretched your strength. You have held together pieces of your life while wondering how much longer you could continue. You have smiled when you wanted to cry, encouraged others while your own spirit felt empty, and kept moving forward even when every step required more courage than anyone realized. I have seen it all, and today I want to speak gently to your soul. You do not have to carry these burdens by yourself any longer. There are weights you picked up because you believed you had no other choice. Some were placed upon you by the expectations of others. Some came from painful experiences that left scars on your heart. Some were born from your own desire to control every outcome, believing that if you worried enough or worked hard enough, you could protect yourself from disappointment. But my beloved child, many of those burdens were never yours to carry. You have been holding tightly to stones that I have been asking you to place into my hands. Imagine a traveler walking a long mountain road with a heavy bag across his shoulders. As the journey continues, the bag grows heavier, and every step becomes more difficult. His back aches, his legs weaken, and his joy disappears. Then he comes upon a loving friend waiting beside the path with a strong cart, saying, "Give your burden to me. I can carry what is crushing you." Yet the traveler hesitates. He has become so accustomed to the weight that he no longer knows what it feels like to walk freely. My beloved child, how often have you been like that traveler? I have stood beside you, ready to carry your burdens, but you have become so familiar with worry that releasing it almost feels unnatural. You were never created to live beneath constant fear. You were never designed to spend your days trapped by anxiety over things beyond your control. I did not create your heart to be a prison filled with endless what-if questions. I created it to be a place where my peace could dwell. Every time you cling to fear, it whispers that everything depends upon your strength. But my peace reminds you that your life rests safely within my hands. There are burdens from your past that still follow you. You replay conversations you wish had gone differently. You remember mistakes that have already been forgiven, yet you continue punishing yourself for them. You carry regret like an old chain, believing you must never forget what happened. But my beloved child, I do not ask you to wear your past forever. I call you into freedom. Lessons should remain, but chains should not. Wisdom should stay, but shame does not belong in the future I am preparing for you. There are also burdens about tomorrow. Your mind races ahead, trying to solve problems that have not yet arrived. You imagine every possible outcome, hoping that preparation will protect you from pain. But in doing so, you often steal the peace I intended for today. Tomorrow has its own journey, and when you arrive there, my grace will already be waiting. You do not need tomorrow's strength before tomorrow comes. You only need enough faith to walk with me through this moment. Picture a small child walking beside a loving father through a crowded marketplace. The child does not carry the family's provisions, nor does the child worry about finding the way home. The father carries the heavy load. The father watches for danger. The father knows the path. The child simply holds the father's hand and keeps walking. My beloved child, this is how I desire your relationship with me to be. I am your father. Let me carry what is too heavy for you. Let me guide where you cannot yet see. Trust that my strength is greater than your weakness. This does not mean your life will be without challenges. There will still be mountains to climb and valleys to cross. But you will no longer face them alone. Every burden surrendered becomes another place where my power can be revealed. Every fear placed into my hands creates room for my peace to fill your heart. Every anxious thought released to me opens the door for hope to grow stronger. So today, my beloved child, lay down the weight you were never meant to carry. Lay down the fear that has stolen your rest. Lay down the guilt that keeps looking backward. Lay down the pressure to have every answer and every solution. Place it all into my hands without holding anything back. I am strong enough to carry what overwhelms you, loving enough to comfort what hurts you, and faithful enough to lead you through whatever lies ahead. Walk beside me with a lighter heart, because you were never meant to journey through life beneath the crushing weight of burdens I have already offered to bear for you. My beloved child, I know there are things you still grieve. Some losses happen suddenly, while others unfolded so slowly that you barely noticed how much they had taken from you. There are dreams you once held with excitement that now exist only as memories. There are relationships you believed would last forever but quietly slipped away. There are opportunities you prayed for that never became reality. There are seasons of your life you sometimes revisit in your mind, wondering what might have happened if just one moment had turned out differently. I have seen every one of those losses, and I have stayed beside you through every tear they have caused. Loss has a way of speaking loudly. It tries to convince you that what is gone has taken part of your future with it. It whispers that because something beautiful ended, nothing beautiful can begin again. It tells you that your greatest joy belongs to yesterday and that tomorrow can only be smaller than what came before. But my beloved child, do not believe that voice. It does not speak the truth. Your future has never been built upon what you lost. It has always been built upon my faithfulness, and my faithfulness has never failed you. There are moments when you look at the empty places in your life and wonder why I allowed them to exist. You ask why certain prayers were answered differently than you hoped. You ask why people you loved walked away. You ask why doors closed after you had already begun to imagine what life would look like beyond them. I do not become angry with those questions. I understand the pain behind them. But I also see what your eyes cannot yet see. I know every path that was never meant for you, every ending that protected you from greater sorrow, and every closed chapter that created room for something far more beautiful than you could have imagined. Think of a forest after a powerful storm. Trees have fallen. Branches cover the ground. The landscape appears broken, and anyone passing through might believe the forest will never recover. Yet beneath the surface, something extraordinary begins to happen. Sunlight now reaches places that have been hidden for years. New seeds awaken because of the light they could never receive before. Fresh growth begins where destruction once stood. What seemed like an ending quietly becomes the beginning of new life. My beloved child, some of the storms you have endured have made room for blessings that could not have grown any other way. Do not mistake the end of one chapter for the end of your story. I am the author of your life, and I never stop writing because one page contains sorrow. Every chapter has its purpose. Some chapters teach you courage. Others teach you patience. Some reveal the depth of love, while others reveal the strength that was hidden inside you all along. Even the painful pages are not written to destroy you. They are woven into a greater story that leads toward hope, healing, and purpose. I know that sometimes you have blamed yourself for what was lost. You have replayed conversations, decisions, and missed opportunities, wondering if one different choice could have changed everything. While it is wise to learn from the past, do not allow regret to become your permanent home. You cannot grow while staring only at what is behind you. The lessons of yesterday are meant to guide your tomorrow, not imprison it. My mercy reaches into every place where regret has tried to settle, and my love is always greater than your greatest mistake. There are blessings ahead that you cannot yet imagine because your eyes have been fixed on what is no longer there. If you continue holding tightly to what has already passed, your hands will not be open to receive what I am preparing to place within them. Sometimes I ask you to release something, not because I want to leave you empty, but because I intend to fill your life with something that better reflects my purpose for you. Remember how the seasons change. Autumn trees release every leaf, standing bare through the cold months of winter. To anyone who does not understand the rhythm of creation, those trees may appear lifeless. Yet the tree is not dead. It is preparing. Hidden within its branches is the promise of spring. New leaves, fresh blossoms, and renewed beauty are already part of its future, even though they cannot yet be seen. My beloved child, you may feel as though you are standing in an empty season, but this is not the end of your story. I have placed the promise of new life within your future. Lift your eyes beyond what has been taken from you. Do not define your identity by what you no longer possess. Do not measure your worth by relationships that ended or dreams that changed. Measure your life by my unchanging love, because that has remained constant through every season. I am still leading you forward. I am still opening new paths. I am still restoring hope where despair once lived. What you lost may have shaped part of your journey, but it will never determine your destination. Your future is not held by your past. It is held securely in my hands, and my hands are faithful, gentle, and filled with promises that are still waiting to bloom in the days ahead. My beloved child, there are moments when your life feels as though it has been standing still. You wake each morning hoping that today will be different, yet the familiar routines, the same unanswered questions, and the same lingering uncertainties greet you again. In those moments, it is easy to believe that nothing is changing. It is easy to assume that because you cannot see movement, there is no movement at all. But I want you to hear my heart today. Even in the quietest seasons, I am preparing new beginnings that your eyes cannot yet perceive. You have often imagined that miracles arrive with loud announcements, dramatic signs, or sudden changes that leave no room for doubt. Sometimes I work in those ways, but more often, my greatest works begin in silence. Just as dawn does not burst into the sky all at once but gently pushes back the darkness little by little, so my plans unfold with wisdom and perfect timing. Before the sun rises above the horizon, the world is already changing. The light begins its journey long before your eyes recognize it. In the same way, your new beginning has already started, even if you cannot yet see its full beauty. There are conversations taking place that you know nothing about. There are opportunities quietly moving closer to you. There are hearts I am softening, paths I am clearing, and circumstances I am arranging beyond the limits of your understanding. While you have been wondering whether I am working, I have been weaving together countless details that will one day reveal my faithful hand. Nothing about your future has been left to chance. Every step has been held within my loving care. Imagine a skilled gardener walking through an orchard during winter. To someone passing by, the trees appear empty and lifeless. Their branches are bare, their fruit is gone, and the cold air seems to have stolen every sign of growth. But the gardener smiles because he knows what others cannot see. He understands the purpose of every season. He knows that beneath the bark, life remains. The roots continue their quiet work beneath the frozen ground. When the appointed season arrives, blossoms will appear, followed by fruit in abundance. The gardener never mistakes winter for the end of the story. My beloved child, I am that gardener, and you are never forgotten in my care. If your life feels like winter today, do not conclude that I have abandoned my plans for you. Seasons of stillness are often seasons of preparation. The roots of faith, wisdom, humility, and perseverance are growing stronger beneath the surface. These are the unseen gifts that will support the blessings I have prepared for your future. You may be asking me, when will this new beginning come? My answer is this: trust the one who knows the perfect season. If I revealed every detail today, you might try to rush ahead before the path was ready. You might become distracted by tomorrow and overlook the lessons I am teaching you today. I am not delaying your future to withhold joy from you. I am preparing both the blessing and the person who will receive it. I am shaping your heart so that when the door opens, you will walk through it with wisdom, gratitude, and peace. Do not despise the small beginnings I place before you. Sometimes the greatest transformations begin with what appears to be an ordinary step. A single act of kindness, a quiet prayer spoken in faith, a decision to forgive, a choice to trust me for one more day. These moments may seem insignificant, but they become the foundation upon which extraordinary things are built. Never underestimate what I can accomplish through your faithful obedience in the ordinary moments of life. Release the fear that tells you it is too late. Release the voice that insists your opportunity has already passed. I am not limited by human timelines. I am able to restore years that seem lost, revive dreams that appear forgotten, and create paths where none seem to exist. What feels impossible to you remains completely possible with me. Your future is not determined by how long you have waited, but by my unchanging power and my perfect love. So lift your eyes with hope, my beloved child. Do not allow today's uncertainty to become tomorrow's expectation. Expect my goodness. Expect my faithfulness. Expect my hand to move in ways that surprise you. Continue walking forward with quiet confidence, even when you cannot yet see the destination. Every sunrise begins with the smallest glimmer of light, and every new beginning I prepare begins with my unseen work. Trust me through this season, for I am already turning the page, writing a new chapter filled with hope, purpose, and blessings that will remind you I was working all along. My beloved child, I know how deeply you long for certainty. You want to know where the road is leading before you take the next step. You want every question answered before you move forward. You want every obstacle removed before you begin the journey. This desire is understandable, for your heart seeks safety and your mind searches for assurance. But I did not create your life to be lived by certainty alone. I created it to be lived through trust, because trust draws you closer to me in ways that complete understanding never could. There have been many moments when you stood at the edge of a decision, wondering which direction to take. You feared making the wrong choice. You worried that one mistake might change the course of your life forever. So you hesitated. You waited. You searched for signs that would erase every doubt. Yet often, while you were looking for absolute clarity, I was inviting you to simply take the next faithful step. I rarely reveal the entire journey at once, because if you saw everything ahead, you might depend more on your own understanding than on my constant presence. Imagine walking through a valley early in the morning when a gentle fog covers the land. You cannot see the distant hills or the end of the path. At first, this feels unsettling, but as you take one careful step after another, the road directly before you becomes clear. Then another step is revealed, and then another. The fog has not disappeared all at once, but you are never without enough light to continue moving forward. My beloved child, this is often how I guide you. I do not leave you in complete darkness, nor do I always reveal the entire landscape. I faithfully provide the light you need for the next step, trusting that you will continue walking beside me. You sometimes mistake limited vision for my absence. When you cannot see the destination, you wonder whether I know the way. But remember this: your inability to see is not evidence that I have stopped leading. I see every turn in the road long before you reach it. I know where joy awaits you, where danger hides, where lessons must be learned, and where unexpected blessings are already prepared. Nothing catches me by surprise. The future that appears uncertain to you has always been completely known to me. There is another reason I do not reveal everything at once. Your heart grows stronger each time you choose to trust me without having all the answers. Just as a tree develops deeper roots by standing through strong winds, your faith grows deeper through seasons when you continue believing even without complete understanding. If every answer arrived immediately, trust would never have the opportunity to mature. You would know about my power, but you would miss experiencing my faithfulness one day at a time. Think of a young child learning to cross a small stream by stepping across carefully placed stones. The child looks at the moving water with uncertainty, afraid of slipping. But the father stands on the other side, extending his hand with a reassuring smile. The child cannot calculate every possibility or guarantee perfect balance. Instead, the child chooses to trust the father's voice. Step by step, the child crosses safely, not because every fear disappeared, but because confidence in the father's guidance became greater than fear of the water. My beloved child, I am always extending my hand toward you. I am never asking you to cross life's uncertain places alone. Do not allow fear to convince you that waiting for perfect certainty is wisdom. There are times when hesitation becomes another way that fear quietly keeps you from moving forward. Wisdom listens to my voice. Fear demands guarantees that life cannot provide. I am calling you to something greater than fear. I am calling you into a relationship where my presence becomes your confidence, even when the road ahead remains partially hidden. You may still encounter unexpected turns. There will be moments when the path feels steeper than you anticipated or when the journey takes longer than you expected. But none of those moments will mean I have abandoned you. I walk before you to prepare the way. I walk beside you to strengthen your heart. I walk behind you to remind you that your past no longer controls your future. Wherever you go, my presence surrounds you with unwavering love. So, my beloved child, stop measuring your peace by how much of the future you can see. Instead, measure your peace by the one who is leading you. Hold my hand when the road seems unclear. Listen for my gentle voice above every anxious thought. Trust that every step taken in faith is bringing you exactly where I have always intended you to be. You do not need to see the whole path to walk confidently, because the one who created the path is walking beside you every step of the way. My beloved child, I know there have been days when you wondered if I had forgotten the promises I placed within your heart. You looked at the calendar, watched the seasons change, and quietly asked, "How much longer?" Each passing day seemed to deepen your questions. You saw others receiving answers, while your own prayers appeared to remain suspended in silence. Yet I tell you this with all the love of a father whose faithfulness has never failed. I have never forgotten a single promise I have spoken over your life. Not one prayer hath been misplaced. Not one tear has been overlooked. Not one moment of your waiting has been without purpose. You often think of time as something slipping away, but I see time as a beautiful instrument that prepares every blessing for the exact moment it will bring the greatest good into your life. What you call delay, I often call preparation. What you call waiting, I often call protection. There are blessings that require hearts made stronger by patience, wisdom refined through experience, and faith deepened by trust. Because I love you, I will never allow your future to arrive before you are ready to receive it. Think of the sun rays. No matter how desperately someone longs for daylight at midnight, the sun does not rise early. He arrives at the appointed hour, neither late nor rushed. If the sun ignored its perfect timing, the rhythm of creation would be disturbed. Yet every morning, without fail, light gently pushes back the darkness exactly when it should. My beloved child, my timing is just as faithful. It may not always match your expectations, but it is always guided by perfect wisdom and unfailing love. There were moments when you believed certain dreams had died simply because they took longer than expected. But a promise delayed is not a promise denied when it rests in my hands. I have been working beyond the limits of what you can see. When you focused on the closed door before you, I was preparing a better one farther ahead. While you mourned what seemed lost, I was protecting you from what would not have brought lasting peace. My plans are never driven by haste. They are shaped by eternal understanding. Do not allow impatience to steal the joy of trusting me. Every season has its purpose. There is a season for planting, a season for growth, and a season for harvest. The farmer does not dig up the seed every morning to check whether it has begun growing. He trusts the unseen work taking place beneath the soil. I ask you to trust me with the same confidence. The roots of my promises are growing even when your eyes cannot yet see the harvest. Remember that I am not only preparing the blessing, I am preparing you. I am teaching you to recognize my voice above the noise of fear. I am shaping your heart so that gratitude will replace pride, humility will overcome self-reliance, and peace will remain even after the blessing arrives. The greatest gift I desire to give you is not merely what you have been praying for. It is a heart that knows me more deeply because of the journey we have walked together. So rest in my timing, my beloved child. Release the need to control what only I can see. Trust that every promise I have spoken remains alive. Trust that every season has been carefully measured by my love. When the appointed moment arrives, you will look back and understand that what felt like waiting was actually my gentle hand leading you towards something far more beautiful than you could have imagined. As you hold on to that promise, let this moment become more than encouragement. It can become part of a greater work that reaches hearts still waiting to hear my voice. I say to you, my beloved child, if this message has become light in your life, let that light continue shining into the lives of others. Just as a single seed can produce a field ready for harvest, your act of generosity can help carry words of hope to souls who are searching for me in their darkest hour. Remember my living promise. Give, and it will be given to you. For my word is alive, and I am still speaking it over those who trust me today. I am inviting you to become a willing sower in this mission of love. If your heart is stirred, release your support through super thanks, become a channel of blessing through membership, or use the PayPal donation link provided in the video description and the QR code shown in this video. Do not think of it as a simple gift. See it as planting into a harvest of transformed lives that only eternity will fully reveal. As you sow with a joyful heart, I will multiply peace, strengthen your hands, and open doors according to my perfect will. Let your generosity become a lamp that helps another weary soul find hope, courage, and my unfailing love. Do not delay the prompting I have placed within your heart. Step forward in faith, sow your seed today, and become part of the work of spreading my word to the ends of the earth. My beloved child, there are wounds within you that no one else can see. The people around you may recognize your smile, your strength, and the way you continue to move forward, but they cannot always see the hidden places where your heart still aches. There are memories that return without warning. There are words spoken long ago that still echo in your mind. There are disappointments that left invisible scars, causing you to question your worth, your future, or even your ability to trust again. But I see every hidden wound, and I have never turned away from any part of your pain. I know the moments when you told yourself that you should have healed by now. You wondered why certain memories still hurt or why some fears continued to follow you. You tried to bury the pain beneath busy days, kind smiles, and quiet determination. Yet buried pain does not disappear simply because it is ignored. It waits in the hidden places of the heart, influencing your thoughts, your choices, and the way you see yourself. My beloved child, I did not come to simply cover your wounds. I came to heal them completely. Healing is one of my greatest expressions of love. But understand this: healing is often a journey, not a single moment. Just as a broken bone needs time to become strong again, so does a wounded heart. If someone removed the bandage too soon, the wound could reopen. In the same way, I know exactly how to care for your heart with patience, tenderness, and perfect wisdom. I never rush the process because I care more about complete restoration than temporary relief. Imagine an artist restoring an ancient painting that has been damaged by time. The colors have faded. Dust has gathered across the surface. Small cracks seem to have ruined what was once beautiful. An untrained eye may believe the masterpiece has been lost forever. But the artist sees beyond the damage. With gentle hands and careful attention, every layer is cleaned, every crack repaired, and every hidden color brought back to life. The process cannot be hurried, because every careful movement protects the beauty beneath. My beloved child, I am restoring your heart with even greater care than that artist restores a treasured painting. I still see the beauty I placed within you from the beginning, even when you struggle to recognize it yourself. Do not mistake my gentle pace for inactivity. There are days when you may feel that nothing has changed, yet healing is quietly taking place beneath the surface. Bitterness is slowly giving way to forgiveness. Fear is beginning to surrender to trust. Shame is losing its grip as my love speaks a stronger truth over your identity. These changes may seem small today, but they are creating a foundation that will sustain you for years to come. There are wounds caused by rejection. You remember the times when you felt unseen, unwanted, or misunderstood. Those experiences convinced part of your heart that you would always have to earn love or prove your value. But my love has never required you to perform. I love you before your greatest success, and I love you through your deepest failure. My affection for you has never depended upon your accomplishments. It flows from my very nature as your loving father. There are also wounds created by disappointment. You trusted people who let you down. You invested your heart in dreams that never became reality. You believed certain chapters would last forever, only to watch them come to an unexpected end. Those moments may have shaken your confidence, but they have never shaken my faithfulness. Even when people failed you, I remained faithful. Even when circumstances changed, my promises remained secure. Even when your heart felt broken, my hands never stopped holding the pieces. Do not be afraid to bring every wounded place into my presence. You do not need to hide your tears from me or pretend that everything is fine. I already know the places where your heart feels fragile. I welcome your honesty because healing begins where trust replaces fear. When you open your heart to me, I do not respond with disappointment. I respond with compassion. I draw near to the places where you hurt the most because that is where my love can be most deeply experienced. My beloved child, there will come a day when you look back and realize that the wounds which once defined your pain have become testimonies of my faithfulness. The scars may remind you of where you have been, but they will no longer control where you are going. Instead, they will remind you of my healing touch, my endless patience, and my unfailing love. Trust my hands as I continue this work within you. I am healing places nobody else can see, and when my restoration is complete, the peace filling your heart will be greater than the pain that once lived there. My beloved child, there have been tears that no one has ever seen except me. Some fell quietly in the darkness after everyone else had gone to sleep. Some remained hidden behind a smile because you did not want others to know how deeply you were hurting. Some never even reached your eyes because they stayed locked within your heart, too heavy to be expressed. But I want you to know something that can bring comfort to your soul today. Not one of those tears has ever been forgotten. Every tear has been counted. Every sigh had been heard. Every ache had been held within my loving hands. The world often measures pain by what it can see. People notice public tragedies, visible struggles, and obvious hardships. But I also see the invisible grief that lives beneath the surface. I see the tears you shed over dreams that quietly faded away. I see the sorrow of loving someone who never understood your heart. I see the disappointment of waiting year after year for an answer that seemed just beyond your reach. I see the loneliness that sometimes surrounded you even when you were standing in a crowded room. My beloved child, nothing about your suffering has escaped my attention. There were moments when you wondered whether anyone truly cared. You prayed, you waited, and you listened, yet the silence seemed overwhelming. You questioned whether your tears had any meaning at all. But I have never viewed your tears as signs of weakness. I see them as honest expressions of a heart that still longs for hope. Tears are not proof that your faith has failed. Often, they are evidence that your heart continues to believe that healing, peace, and restoration are possible. The heart that has stopped hoping no longer cries, but your tears reveal that deep within you, the flame of hope still burns, even if it sometimes feels small. Imagine a gentle rain falling upon dry and cracked ground after a long season of drought. At first, nothing appears different. The earth still looks dry, and the landscape still seems lifeless. Yet beneath the surface, the water begins soaking into the soil. It reaches hidden roots that have been waiting for nourishment. Days later, tiny green shoots begin to appear where nothing seemed capable of growing. The rain did not simply wet the ground. It awakened life that had been quietly waiting beneath it. My beloved child, your tears have often been like that rain. What felt like endless sorrow has been softening places within your heart where new life is preparing to grow. Do not believe the lie that your pain has been wasted. I am able to transform every sorrow into something meaningful. I do not cause every hardship you experience, but I redeem what pain tries to destroy. I bring beauty from ashes, hope from despair, and strength from weakness. The very experiences that once made you question your future can become the places where my faithfulness shines most brightly. One day, someone else will find courage because they hear how I carried you through your darkest valley. There are tears of regret that still trouble you. You wish you had spoken differently, chosen differently, or acted differently. My beloved child, my mercy reaches even there. When you sincerely place your past into my hands, I do not continue counting your failures. I begin writing a new chapter shaped by grace. Stop punishing yourself for what I have already forgiven. Do not allow yesterday's mistakes to rob today's peace. There are also tears born from Lomi. You have waited for restoration in relationships, healing in your body, peace in your mind, or direction for your future. Waiting has stretched your heart, and sometimes it has left you feeling weary. Yet your waiting has never been empty. Every prayer spoken through tears has risen before me. Every hopeful whisper has reached my heart. I am never deaf to the cries of my beloved children. Even when my answers arrive differently than you expect, they are always wrapped in wisdom and love. My beloved child, I want you to remember something whenever tears begin to fill your eyes again. You do not cry alone. I remain beside you. My presence is not weakened by your sorrow. It grows even nearer. I sit with you in the silence. I strengthen you when words fail. I surround you with a peace that slowly quiets the storms within your soul. You never need to hide your tears from me because they do not push me away. They draw you closer to my compassionate heart. The day will come when you will look back and see that every tear became part of a greater story. They watered seeds of faith you could not yet recognize. They softened your heart so that love could grow more deeply. They taught you compassion for others who would one day walk through similar valleys. Most of all, they revealed that my love never abandoned you, even in your deepest sorrow. So let your heart rest today, my beloved child. Every tear hath been counted, every prayer has been heard, and every sorrow is being gently transformed by the faithful hands of your loving Father. My beloved child, there are moments when you look at yourself and only see your limitations. You notice the places where you have fallen short, the fears you still struggle to overcome, and the areas of your life where you wish you were stronger. You compare yourself to those around you and quietly wonder why they seem more confident, more capable, or more prepared than you. Sometimes you even question whether you have what it takes to fulfill the purpose I have placed before you. But I want you to listen carefully to my voice today, because I see you very differently than you see yourself. Where you see weakness, I see a place where my strength can shine most clearly. The world teaches you to hide your weaknesses. It tells you that you must appear strong at all times, that asking for help is failure, and that your value depends on how independent you can be. This way of thinking places heavy burdens upon your heart. It convinces you that you must carry every challenge alone and solve every problem by your own ability. But my beloved child, I never asked you to become self-sufficient. I created you to live in relationship with me. Your greatest strength has never been your own power. It has always been your willingness to lean upon mine. Think of a small sailboat crossing a wide sea. Without the wind, the boat can do very little. It may have a beautiful design and a strong hull, but it cannot reach its destination through its own effort alone. It was created to catch the wind and move with its power. The sailor does not create the wind. He simply raises the sails and allows the unseen force to carry him forward. My beloved child, your life is much like that sailboat. You were never meant to move through life powered only by your own strength. Raise the sails of your faith and allow my spirit to carry you where your own ability cannot. I know there are days when you feel emotionally exhausted. The weight of responsibility presses heavily upon you. Decisions seem overwhelming. Unexpected challenges leave you wondering whether you have enough strength for another day. Yet even in those moments, I am quietly working within you. Sometimes my greatest miracles are not the sudden removal of every difficulty. Sometimes my greatest miracle is giving you the strength to continue, one faithful step at a time, until you discover that you have already crossed the valley you once believed would defeat you. Do you remember the times when you thought you could not go on, yet somehow you did? You may have believed it was simply determination, but I was the one strengthening your heart when your own strength had nearly disappeared. I whispered hope into your spirit when despair tried to silence it. I placed courage within you when fear stood before you like a mountain. Even when you felt empty, I continued pouring my grace into your life, sustaining you in ways you did not fully recognize. Do not be ashamed of the places where you still struggle. Bring them to me honestly. If fear troubles you, bring me your fear. If doubt lingers in your heart, bring me your doubt. If weariness weighs upon your soul, bring me your exhaustion. You do not need to polish your heart before coming into my presence. I already know every hidden corner of your life, and my love has never depended on your perfection. I delight in meeting you exactly where you are because that is where transformation begins. Imagine a master craftsman restoring a cracked vessel. An ordinary observer might throw it away, believing it has lost its value. But the craftsman carefully repairs every fracture, making the vessel even more beautiful than before. The places that once seemed broken become reminders of the artist's skill and care. My beloved child, I am the master craftsman of your life. The areas you consider damaged are not beyond my restoration. In my hands, your weaknesses become places where my grace is displayed with even greater beauty. There will be times ahead when you face challenges that seem larger than your own ability. When those moments come, do not panic. Remember that I have never called you to rely solely upon yourself, Every assignment I place before you comes with the strength I provide. If I lead you into a new season, I will also equip you for it. I never send my beloved child into tomorrow without already preparing the grace needed to walk through it. So stop measuring your future by your present limitations. Stop believing that your weakness is the end of your story. Instead, let every weakness become an invitation to draw closer to me. The less you depend upon your own strength alone, the more room you create for my power to work within you. I'm not searching for perfect people. I am searching for willing hearts that trust me enough to say, "Father, I cannot do this alone." Its simple surrender opens the door for my strength to accomplish what your own efforts never could. My beloved child, never forget this truth. You are not strong because you never struggle. You are strong because I am with you. Wherever you feel weakest today, my presence is already there, quietly filling that place with courage, wisdom, peace, and strength that will carry you farther than you ever imagined possible. My beloved child, there are many voices competing for your attention every single day. Some come from the world around you, filling your mind with endless reasons to worry. Others rise from memories of painful experiences, reminding you of times when things did not go as planned. Still others come from your own anxious thoughts, quietly asking, "What if everything goes wrong?" These voices can become so constant that they begin to sound like truth. But I want you to remember something that will steady your heart. Not every voice deserves your trust. Fear may speak loudly, but it has never spoken with my authority. Fear has a way of presenting itself as wisdom. It tells you that if you worry enough, you will somehow be prepared for every possible outcome. It convinces you that expecting disappointment will protect you from being hurt. It whispers that staying where you are is safer than stepping into the unknown. Yet fear has never been a faithful guide. It keeps your eyes fixed on dangers that may never come while preventing you from seeing the blessings already waiting ahead. Fear builds walls where I am opening doors. It creates chains where I am calling you into freedom. My beloved child, my voice is different. I do not lead you through panic. I lead you through peace. I do not motivate you by filling your heart with dread. I strengthen you by reminding you of my faithfulness. Even when I call you into unfamiliar places, my voice carries the quiet confidence of a loving father who already knows the outcome. I never ask you to walk alone. Wherever I lead, my presence goes before you. Think of a lighthouse standing upon a rocky shoreline during a violent storm. The waves crash against the cliffs. The wind howls through the darkness, and the sea becomes dangerous for every ship. The storm makes tremendous noise, demanding attention with every crashing wave. Yet above all that chaos, the steady light of the lighthouse continues shining. It does not compete with the storm by becoming louder. It simply remains faithful, constant, and unchanging. Every sailor who chooses to fix their eyes on that light finds the path to safety. My beloved child, my voice is like that lighthouse. Fear may roar like the storm, but my truth remains steady, dependable, and full of life. Keep your eyes upon me and you will not lose your way. There have been times when fear convinced you to question your own worth. It told you that you were not capable enough, wise enough, or strong enough to fulfill the purpose I placed before you. It reminded you of every mistake while ignoring every lesson you learned through those experiences. But I have never spoken to you that way. When I look at you, I do not begin with your failures. I begin with my love. I see the person I created, the one I continue shaping day by day. My plans for you have never been canceled because of your imperfections. Sometimes fear disguises itself as urgency. It pushes you to rush decisions, react without peace, or believe that every delay means disaster. But my timing is never driven by panic. My wisdom is never hurried. I invite you to pause before me, to quiet the noise around you, and to remember that the one who holds your future is never anxious about tomorrow. If I am at peace, you can rest in that peace as well. There will always be circumstances beyond your control. There will be questions that remain unanswered for a season. There will be moments when the road ahead appears uncertain. But uncertainty does not mean you are unsafe. Your security has never depended upon knowing every detail of the future. It has always rested in the certainty of my presence. I know the beginning and the end of every journey you will ever take. Nothing surprises me. Nothing escapes my care. When fearful thoughts begin filling your mind, do not argue with each one until you become exhausted. Instead, return your attention to my voice. Remember the promises I have already spoken over your life. Remember the valleys I have already carried you through. Remember the doors I have opened, the strength I have given, and the peace I have placed within your heart before. If I have been faithful yesterday, I will remain faithful today and tomorrow. My beloved child, every day you make a choice about which voice will shape your heart. You can allow fear to become the loudest sound in your life, or you can allow my truth to become your foundation. One voice leads to anxiety, while the other leads to peace. One keeps you looking backward, while the other gently calls you forward. One focuses on what might be lost, while the other reminds you of everything that can still be redeemed. So come closer to me. Spend time listening for my gentle whisper above the noise of your worries. Let my promises become more familiar than your fears. Let my love become stronger than your doubts. And whenever fear begins to raise its voice again, remember this, my beloved child. It may be loud, but it will never be greater than my truth. My voice has always spoken life, hope, courage, and peace over you, and if you continue to follow it, you will discover that no storm can drown out the love of your faithful Father. My beloved child, there have been times when you stood before a closed door and believed it was the end of your journey. You knocked with hope, prayed with expectation, and waited with all the faith you could gather. Yet the door remained shut. You wondered if you had misunderstood my direction or if your opportunity had slipped away forever. In those moments, disappointment settled into your heart, and you questioned whether I was still leading you. But today I want to remind you of a truth that reaches far beyond what your eyes can see. Every closed door you have faced has been seen by me, and even now I am opening doors you cannot yet see. It is difficult for you to understand why I sometimes allow one path to end before another begins. You naturally want clear answers and immediate direction. You want to see the next doorway before the current one closes. But often, I ask you to trust me in the hallway between seasons. It is in that place of waiting that your faith grows stronger, your heart becomes more dependent upon me, and your vision begins to shift from what you have lost to what I am preparing. Imagine a traveler making his way through a vast mountain range. As he walks, he comes upon a massive wall of stone blocking the trail he had planned to follow. At first he feels defeated. He believes the journey has ended because the road he expected is no longer available. But what he cannot see is that just beyond the curve of the mountain is another path, one that is safer, more beautiful, and leads to a destination far greater than the one he originally imagined. The wall before him is not his enemy. It is a guide, quietly redirecting him towards something better. My beloved child, many of the closed doors in your life have been like that mountain wall. They were not signs of my rejection. They were expressions of my protection. I have closed doors that would have led you into unnecessary pain. I have prevented opportunities that appeared attractive but would have drawn you away from the purpose I designed specifically for you. There are disappointments you still grieve today that you will one day thank me for, because you will finally see what I was protecting you from. Do not measure my love by the number of doors that have remained closed. Measure it by my faithfulness to guide you even when you cannot understand my reasons. I never remove something from your life without knowing exactly how I will continue leading you. My plans are not built upon confusion. They are carefully woven together with wisdom, compassion, and perfect timing. Even when one chapter ends unexpectedly, I am already preparing the beginning of another. There are doors opening right now that you cannot yet recognize. Some are opening within your own heart. I am increasing your wisdom, strengthening your character, and teaching you to trust my voice more deeply than ever before. These inner doors are just as important as the opportunities you are waiting to see in the world around you. Before I expand your path outwardly, I often enlarge your heart inwardly so that you will be ready to carry the blessings that await you. There are also people I am preparing to cross your path, friendships that will encourage you, mentors who will guide you, opportunities that will arrive at the exact moment you are prepared to receive them, conversations that will change the direction of your journey. None of these meetings are accidental. I am the one who arranges what seems like ordinary moments into extraordinary turning points. What appears to be coincidence to many is often my quiet hand at work. You may be tempted to force open doors that remain closed because waiting has become uncomfortable. Resist the temptation, my beloved child. A door forced open through impatience often leads to unnecessary sorrow. A door opened by my hand brings peace that does not need to be defended. When I lead, you will not have to live in constant fear that everything depends upon your own effort. My provision carries its own confidence, because it rests upon my faithfulness rather than your striving. Remember the sunrise once more. The morning does not arrive because the earth demands it. It comes because the Creator appointed its time. In the same way, the opportunities I have prepared for you will arrive according to my perfect wisdom. You do not need to anxiously search every horizon or fear that you might somehow miss my plan. I am fully capable of leading you where you need to be. What I have prepared for you cannot be stolen by delay, overlooked because of uncertainty, or lost through honest trust in me. So lift your eyes beyond the closed doors behind you. Stop standing before yesterday's disappointments, hoping they will suddenly change. Turn your heart toward the future I am unfolding before you. Walk with confidence, even if the next doorway is still hidden beyond the bend in the road. I am already there, my beloved child. My hand is upon the handle of doors you have not yet seen, preparing them to open at exactly the right moment. Trust my wisdom. Continue walking faithfully, and you will discover that every step has been leading you toward blessings greater than you ever imagined. My beloved child, I know there are days when life feels like an endless battle. You wake up hoping for peace, yet before the day has fully begun, worries begin to press against your heart. Unexpected problems appear without warning. Responsibilities seem to multiply. Relationships become strained. Your thoughts grow restless, and your spirit grows weary. There are moments when you wonder how much more you can endure. But I want you to hear me with complete confidence today. The battle around you is not greater than my presence within you and beside you. You often focus on the size of the challenge standing before you. You measure your strength against the difficulty and conclude that you are not enough. You see mountains where I see pathways. You see storms where I see opportunities to reveal my faithfulness. My beloved child, I have never asked you to face life's battles by relying only upon your own strength. I have always intended for my presence to become your greatest source of courage. Think of a small candle burning inside a dark room. Darkness may fill every corner, But the moment the flame appears, the darkness cannot extinguish it by its own power. Light does not struggle to overcome darkness. It simply shines, and darkness must retreat. In the same way, my presence within your life is greater than every fear, every uncertainty, and every challenge that surrounds you. The difficulties may still exist for a time, but they do not possess the final authority over your story. I do. There have been battles you never expected to fight. Some have been within your own heart. You have wrestled with discouragement, doubt, loneliness, and disappointment. You have questioned whether you were strong enough to continue. You have wondered if anyone truly understood the weight you carried. Yet through every hidden struggle, I remained with you. Even when you felt weak, I was quietly strengthening you. Even when your prayers seemed simple and exhausted, they reached my heart. I never ignored a single cry from my beloved child. There have also been battles that came through other people. Harsh words wounded your spirit. Misunderstandings created distance. Betrayal left scars that took time to heal. You expected kindness but received rejection. You offered trust and experienced disappointment. Those moments tempted you to build walls around your heart, believing it would be safer never to hope again. But I do not want fear to become the architect of your future. I am gently rebuilding your heart so that wisdom can protect you without allowing bitterness to imprison you. Imagine a young tree planted beside a river. Strong winds arrive season after season, bending its branches and shaking its leaves. From a distance, it appears fragile, yet beneath the surface, its roots continue reaching deeper into the rich soil where fresh water continually flows. Because of those hidden roots, the storms that once seemed capable of destroying the tree actually make it stronger. My beloved child, every challenge you have faced has been an invitation to send your roots deeper into my love. The storms were never meant to uproot you. They were meant to teach you where true strength is found. Do not misunderstand the presence of difficulty as the absence of my care. Some of your greatest growth has happened in the middle of battles you wished would end sooner. Patience has grown where frustration once ruled. Compassion has grown where pain once lived. Courage has grown where fear once held power. These gifts are not accidental. They are evidence that I have been working within you even while the battle continued around you. When you feel surrounded by problems, remember that you are even more completely surrounded by my presence. My love is not limited by your circumstances. My peace does not disappear because the world becomes uncertain. My wisdom does not become confused because you cannot see the next step. I remain exactly who I have always been, faithful, unchanging, and completely devoted to your good. There will be moments ahead when new challenges arise. When they do, resist the temptation to face them with panic. Instead, pause and remember every time I have already carried you through what once seemed impossible. Recall the strength I gave you when you thought you had none left. Remember the peace that unexpectedly filled your heart during seasons when everything around you felt unstable. Those moments were not accidents. They were reminders that my presence has always been enough. My beloved child, you do not need to fight every battle by yourself. Some burdens belong in my hands, not yours. Some victories will come, not because of your effort alone, but because you chose to trust me instead of fear. Stand firmly in my love. Rest confidently in my promises. Walk forward knowing that whatever rises against you must first pass beneath my watchful eyes. The battle around you may seem great today, but it is not greater than the one who walks beside you. My presence is your refuge when you feel overwhelmed, your strength when you feel weak, your peace when the world becomes noisy, and your hope when the future seems uncertain. So do not let your heart be troubled, my beloved child. Keep your eyes on me, and you will discover that no battle can overcome a life held securely within the hands of your loving Father. My beloved child, there is a peace I long to place within your heart that cannot be shaken by changing circumstances. It is not the kind of peace the world offers, for the world's peace depends upon everything going according to plan. It comes when problems disappear, when relationships are easy, when health is strong, and when tomorrow feels predictable. But the peace I give is deeper than that. It remains even when the winds are strong, even when questions remain unanswered, and even when the road ahead is still unfolding. It is the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you are never walking alone. I know how often your mind races ahead of the present moment. You think about tomorrow before today has ended. You replay yesterday while trying to carry the weight of what has not yet happened. Your thoughts become crowded with possibilities, concerns, and responsibilities until your heart grows tired. My beloved child, I never created you to live imprisoned by endless worry. I created you to live one day at a time, trusting that my grace will always meet you where you are. Peace begins when you release the illusion that you must control everything. There are many things in life that will remain beyond your reach. You cannot predict every outcome. You cannot prevent every disappointment. You cannot carry every person through their own journey. But you do not have to. I have never asked you to hold the universe together. That responsibility has always belonged to me. Your calling is not to control every circumstance, but to trust the one who lovingly governs them all. Imagine a deep lake surrounded by mountains. On the surface, strong winds may stir the water into waves. Rain may fall, and storms may pass overhead. But far beneath the surface, the water remains calm and undisturbed. The storm cannot reach the depths where quiet stillness remains. My beloved child, this is the kind of peace I desire to cultivate within you. The surface of your life may experience unexpected changes, but deep within your heart, my presence can create a stillness that no circumstance can steal. There will always be voices inviting you into anxiety, news of uncertainty, opinions that create fear, memories that awaken old wounds. Even your own thoughts may sometimes try to convince you that you must prepare for every possible hardship. But peace grows when you choose to listen to my voice more often than to your fears. The more time you spend dwelling upon my promises, the less power anxious thoughts will have over your heart. Do you remember how many times you worried about situations that eventually worked out differently than you expected? You spent precious energy imagining outcomes that never came to pass. Fear created stories that reality never fulfilled. My beloved child, how much of your peace has been stolen by things that existed only in your imagination? I gently invite you to stop borrowing tomorrow's troubles before they arrive. Live faithfully today. Let tomorrow rest safely in my hands until its own time comes. Peace is not pretending that difficulties do not exist. It is knowing that difficulties do not have the final word. You can acknowledge the storm without surrendering to it. You can face uncertainty without allowing it to define your heart. You can grieve losses while still holding on to hope. This is the peace I teach, a peace rooted not in perfect circumstances, but in my unchanging character. Think of a little child asleep in a boat while a loving father watches over the journey. The child is not awake calculating the direction of the wind or measuring the height of the waves. The child rests because trust has replaced fear. Confidence in the Father's care has become greater than concern about the storm. My beloved child, I desire that same restful trust to grow within you. Not because your life will never encounter storms, but because you know the one who faithfully guides the boat through every wave. As you continue walking with me, you will notice something beautiful happening within your spirit. Situations that once filled you with panic will begin to lose their power. Delays that once frustrated you will become opportunities to practice patience. Unexpected changes that once terrified you will become reminders that I remain in control even when your plans shift. This transformation will not happen all at once, but day by day, step by step, my peace will take deeper root in your heart. Whenever anxiety begins to whisper again, pause before rushing ahead. Take a quiet moment to remember my faithfulness. Recall the prayers I have already answered, the valleys I have already carried you through, and the strength I have already provided when you thought you had none left. Let gratitude become the doorway through which peace enters your soul. My beloved child, I am teaching you something more valuable than temporary comfort. I am teaching you to walk in peace, not only when the skies are clear, but also when clouds gather. Not only when life feels easy, but also when the path becomes difficult. This peace will become a steady companion throughout your journey because it does not depend upon the world around you. It depends upon me, and I will never leave your side. Walk with me each day, and my peace will guard your heart, steady your mind, and gently remind you that you are forever safe in the love of your Father. My beloved child, there have been many times when you looked at your life and wondered why certain chapters had to be so difficult. You asked why the road became so steep, why the nights felt so long, and why the answers seemed to arrive only after your strength had nearly been exhausted. In those moments, it was easy to believe that your pain served no purpose. It seemed like an unnecessary burden, something you simply had to survive. But I want you to see your journey through my eyes today. Nothing you have walked through in my care has been meaningless. Every season has been shaping a story that will one day become hope for someone else. You often believe that only your victories matter. You think people will only be encouraged by hearing about the moments when everything worked out perfectly. But the truth is that hearts are often healed by hearing how I carried my beloved children through their valleys. People find courage when they realize they are not alone in their struggles. They begin to hope again when they see that I remain faithful through someone else's darkest season. Your wounds, once healed by my love, become living reminders that despair never has the final word. Think of a traveler crossing a dangerous mountain pass covered with loose stones and hidden cliffs. The journey is difficult, and every careful step requires courage. After finally reaching the other side, the traveler begins placing small markers along the safest route. Later, others who must cross the same mountain find those markers and safely follow them through places they could never have navigated alone. My beloved child, many of the hardships you have faced are becoming those markers. The wisdom you have gained, the compassion growing within you, and the faith strengthened through your trials will one day guide another weary heart toward hope. Perhaps you still wish some chapters had never happened. There are memories you would gladly erase if given the chance. There are moments of heartbreak, disappointment, and loneliness that you never wanted to experience. I understand those feelings completely. I do not delight in your suffering. My heart has always been close to you in every painful season. Yet because I am your loving Father, I am able to redeem what pain intended to destroy. I weave redemption into places where brokenness once seemed permanent. There are people you have not yet met who will one day need the very comfort you are receiving today. They will wonder if anyone understands their fear, their grief, or their waiting. When that moment comes, your words will carry a different kind of strength because they will not come from theory. They will come from experience. You will be able to say, I have walked through a similar valley, and I discovered that God never left me. Those simple words, spoken with sincerity, can become a lifeline to someone who has almost given up. Do not underestimate the quiet influence of a faithful life. You do not need a great stage or a famous name to become a source of hope. Every act of kindness, every word of encouragement, every prayer spoken for another person, and every example of quiet trust becomes part of the light I shine through you. Sometimes you will never know the full impact your faithfulness has had until eternity reveals the countless hearts touched by your willingness to keep trusting me. Remember how often you have been strengthened by the stories of others. There were moments when someone shared their testimony, and suddenly your own burden felt lighter. Their honesty reminded you that you were not alone. Their perseverance encouraged you to keep moving forward. In the same way, your life is becoming a testimony that I will use to strengthen others. I never waste the lessons my beloved children learn while walking with me. There will also be times when you are tempted to hide the parts of your journey that feel imperfect. You may think your struggles make you less useful or your scars make you less worthy. But it is often through those very scars that my grace becomes most visible. A healed wound speaks more powerfully than an untouched life because it reveals both human weakness and divine faithfulness. Your scars are not signs that I abandoned you. They are evidence that I remained with you until healing came. So continue walking faithfully, even when you do not fully understand the purpose of every season. Continue choosing hope when discouragement tries to settle into your heart. Continue showing kindness even after experiencing disappointment. Continue believing that my plans are good, even when they unfold differently than you expected. Every faithful step becomes another sentence in the story I am writing through your life. My beloved child, your story is far from finished. The chapters ahead still contain blessings you cannot yet imagine, lessons that will deepen your faith, and moments that will reveal my goodness in ways that surprise you. One day, someone who feels lost will find courage because they see how I carried you. Someone who feels forgotten will remember my love because they hear your story. Someone standing in darkness will begin walking toward the light because your life quietly pointed them to me. That is how I work. I take ordinary lives surrendered to my care, and I transform them into living testimonies of hope. Your story is becoming someone else's hope, and through it, my love will continue reaching hearts long after your own tears have dried. My beloved child, the world around you is filled with noise. From the moment you waken until you finally close your eyes at night, countless voices compete for your attention. There are opinions telling you who you should become, fears predicting what tomorrow might bring, distractions pulling your heart in every direction, and endless demands upon your time and energy. In the middle of all this noise, my voice has never stopped speaking. But my voice is not usually found in the loudest places. I often speak in the quiet moments where your heart is willing to slow down and simply be with me. There have been times when you asked why you could not hear me clearly. You wondered if I had become silent or if you had somehow drifted too far away. But my beloved child, I have never stopped speaking. More often than not, the difficulty has not been my silence but the many voices that have crowded around your heart. When your mind is constantly racing, when fear keeps demanding your attention, or when you are always hurrying to the next responsibility, it becomes difficult to recognize the gentle whisper that has been there all along. Think of a peaceful forest just before sunrise. The world is still. The wind moves softly through the trees, and the first birds begin to sing. In that quiet place, even the smallest sound can be heard clearly. But imagine bringing the noise of a busy city into that same forest. The gentle sounds would quickly disappear beneath the louder ones. My beloved child, your heart is much like that forest. When it becomes filled with endless noise, my whisper can seem distant. But when you create space to be still before me, you begin hearing what has always been there. My whisper is not meant to frighten you. It does not rush you or fill you with panic. My voice brings clarity where confusion has lived. It brings peace where anxiety has settled. It reminds you of truths that fear tries to make you forget. When I speak, I call you by love, not by shame. I remind you of your purpose, not your failures. I strengthen your faith instead of feeding your doubts. There are moments when you expect my guidance to arrive through dramatic signs or extraordinary events. Sometimes I work in remarkable ways, but often my direction comes as a quiet conviction in your heart, a gentle reminder of my promises, or an unexpected peace that settles over your spirit when you choose the right path. Do not overlook these quiet gifts simply because they are gentle. My wisdom does not need to shout in order to be powerful. Imagine a shepherd leading his sheep across open fields. He does not stand at a distance screaming every instruction. Instead, the sheep become familiar with his voice through daily closeness. They learn to recognize his tone, and because they trust him, they follow with confidence. The more time they spend near the shepherd, the easier it becomes to distinguish his voice from every other sound around them. My beloved child, this is the relationship I desire with you. I do not want you to know only about me. I want you to know my voice so well that even in the middle of life's confusion, your heart immediately recognizes my gentle call. There will always be voices that attempt to imitate truth. Some will encourage pride instead of humility. Others will stir fear instead of faith. Some will tempt you to seek approval from people instead of resting in my love. That is why closeness with me matters so deeply. The more you know my heart, the easier it becomes to recognize what does not reflect my character. My voice will never lead you into bitterness, hatred, or hopelessness. It will always lead you toward love, wisdom, compassion, patience, and peace. Do not be discouraged if learning to hear my whisper takes time. Every relationship grows through faithful moments shared together. Just as close friends recognize one another's voices through years of conversation, your heart becomes more familiar with mine through daily fellowship. Come before me without pretending. Bring me your questions, your gratitude, your fears, and your hopes. Sit quietly in my presence without feeling the need to fill every moment with words. Sometimes the greatest conversations happen in peaceful silence, where my love speaks directly to your soul. When you begin each day, invite me into your thoughts before the noise of the world fills your mind. Throughout the day, pause for brief moments to remember that I am beside you. Before you rest at night, place every burden back into my hands instead of carrying it into tomorrow. These simple moments of closeness will gradually train your heart to recognize my gentle whisper more clearly than ever before. My beloved child, I am always nearer than you realize. I have never hidden my heart from you. Even now, as you listen to these words, my whisper is reaching toward you with tenderness and unwavering love. Quiet your fears. Slow your hurrying thoughts. Open your heart again. You do not need louder answers. You need a deeper awareness of my presence. Listen closely, and you will discover that I have been gently speaking hope, peace, direction, and love over your life all along. My beloved child, if there is one truth I desire for you to carry deeply within your heart, it is this: you are more loved than you can imagine. Not because you have done everything perfectly, not because you have always made the right choices, not because you have earned my affection through your efforts. You are loved because love is my nature, and you are my beloved child. Before you accomplished anything, before you proved yourself to anyone, before you even understood who you were, my love had already surrounded your life. There have been moments when you questioned whether you were truly worthy of love. Perhaps people disappointed you. Perhaps someone you trusted walked away. Perhaps harsh words were spoken over you until you began believing they were true. Rejection has a way of planting deep questions inside the heart. It whispers, if they left, maybe I was never enough. It says, if they did not choose me, perhaps I am not valuable. My beloved child, do not allow the actions of imperfect people to redefine what I have declared about you. Human love can fail because human hearts are imperfect. My love never fails because it flows from my perfect heart. I know there are times when you have looked in the mirror and focused only on what you believed was lacking. You measured yourself against impossible standards. You compared your journey to someone else's. You judged your worth by your achievements, your appearance, your possessions, or the approval of those around you. But I have never measured your value that way. When I look upon you, I do not first see your accomplishments or your shortcomings. I see the precious life I lovingly created. I see the heart I continue shaping with patience, compassion, and grace. Imagine a father watching his small child take their first uncertain steps. The child stumbles, falls, and reaches for support. Does the loving father become disappointed because the child cannot yet walk perfectly? Of course not. His heart is filled with joy because every small step reflects growth. He celebrates effort, not perfection. He delights simply because the child belongs to him. My beloved child, this is how I look upon you. I rejoice over every step you take toward me. I do not wait until you become perfect before loving you. I have loved you from the very beginning, and my love continues through every stage of your journey. There are days when you feel strong in your faith, and there are days when you struggle to believe. There are seasons when gratitude flows naturally, and there are seasons when your heart feels heavy with questions. Yet my love does not increase on your strongest days or decrease on your weakest ones. It remains constant because it is rooted in who I am, not in how you feel. Even when your emotions change like the weather, my love remains as steady as the sunrise that faithfully returns each morning. You may wonder how deeply I love you. My beloved child, my love is greater than the widest ocean you can imagine. It reaches beyond every mountain of regret you have carried. It stretches farther than every fear that has tried to limit your future. There is no place you could go where my love cannot find you. There is no valley so deep that my presence cannot reach you. There is no failure so great that my mercy cannot restore you. You cannot outrun my love because it has always been pursuing you. There are moments when you believe you must hide the broken parts of your heart from me. You think I will love you more if you appear stronger, wiser, or more faithful than you truly feel. But my beloved child, I already know every hidden place within you. I know your fears before you speak them. I know your disappointments before you explain them. I know the dreams you are afraid to admit and the wounds you still carry. Yet knowing all of this has never caused me to love you less. If anything, it draws my compassionate heart even closer to yours. My love is not meant to remain an idea you simply believe with your mind. I want it to become the foundation upon which you build your life. When you know you are deeply loved, you no longer need to chase acceptance from every passing voice. You no longer need to fear rejection as though it determines your identity. You become free to love others generously because you are no longer living from emptiness. My love fills the places where insecurity once lived. So whenever you begin to doubt your worth, remember my voice calling your name. Whenever loneliness tries to convince you that you have been forgotten, remember that my presence has never left your side. Whenever shame whispers that you are not enough, answer it with the truth that you are my beloved child. My love has never depended upon your perfection. It has always rested upon my unchanging heart. Carry this truth with you each day. Let it shape the way you see yourself, the way you treat others, and the way you face the future. Walk with quiet confidence, not because life will always be easy, but because you know whose love surrounds you. My beloved child, you are more loved than you can imagine, and nothing in all creation will ever change that eternal truth. My beloved child, there are seasons of your life that seem as though they were taken from you. You look back and remember years marked by sorrow, disappointment, waiting, or struggle, and you wonder what might have been if those seasons had unfolded differently. Perhaps you feel as though time has stolen opportunities you can never recover. Maybe you believe you are too late to begin again, too old to dream again, or too weary to hope again. But I want you to hear my heart today. Time has never been greater than my power, and what seems lost to you has never been beyond my ability to restore. You measure life by calendars, birthdays, and passing seasons. You count the years that have gone by and compare where you are to where you hoped you would be. Sometimes those comparisons leave you discouraged. You think of relationships that ended too soon, dreams that were delayed, and opportunities that seemed to disappear forever. Yet I do not look at your life through the same measure. I see every season as part of a much greater story. I know how to redeem what appears wasted. I know how to bring beauty from years that seemed empty. I know how to turn places of mourning into places of joyful testimony. Think of an old garden that has been neglected for many years. Weeds have covered the paths. The flowers are gone. The soil looks dry and lifeless. Someone passing by might believe that nothing beautiful could ever grow there again. But then the gardener arrives. He patiently removes the weeds, softens the hardened ground, plants fresh seeds, and waters the soil with care. At first, there seems to be little change. But slowly, new life begins to emerge. Before long, the same garden that once looked forgotten becomes filled with color, fragrance, and abundant growth. My beloved child, I am that gardener. There are places in your life that may seem abandoned by time, but they have never been abandoned by me. Perhaps time has stolen your confidence. After enough disappointments, you stopped believing that good things could still happen. You lowered your expectations to protect yourself from future pain. You convinced yourself that hoping was too dangerous because hope had been disappointed before. But I never asked you to place your hope in circumstances. I asked you to place your hope in me. Circumstances change, but my faithfulness remains the same yesterday, today, and forever. Maybe time has stolen your joy. The responsibilities of life became so heavy that laughter grew quiet. You became accustomed to surviving instead of living with expectation. But joy is not gone forever. It has simply been buried beneath layers of weariness, and I am gently uncovering it again. As you continue walking with me, you will discover moments of gratitude where bitterness once lived, songs of praise where silence once lingered, and renewed strength where exhaustion once ruled your heart. There are also relationships that time has affected. Some people walked away, others changed. Some misunderstandings created distances you never expected. While not every relationship will be restored in the way you imagine, I can restore your heart. I can heal wounds that years have not been able to erase. I can teach you to love without fear, to forgive without becoming bitter, and to trust again without ignoring wisdom. Restoration begins within the heart long before it becomes visible in the world around you. Do not believe the lie that your best days are behind you. That lie comes from fear, not from me. As long as I continue breathing purpose into your life, there are still chapters waiting to be written. There are still people whose lives will be touched by your kindness. There are still prayers that will be answered. There are still blessings prepared for seasons you have not yet entered. Your story is not ending where disappointment tried to stop it. Imagine the sunrise after the longest night of winter. For hours, darkness seems endless. The cold feels permanent. But then, almost unnoticed at first, a gentle light begins to appear along the horizon. It grows stronger until the darkness can no longer remain. The night did not disappear because it became weaker. It disappeared because the light arrived. My beloved child, my restoration often begins like that sunrise. It may seem small in the beginning, but if you continue trusting me, the light will grow until hope replaces despair and joy overcomes sorrow. Do not rush the process. Restoration is not merely about returning things to the way they were before. I often create something even more beautiful than what was lost. The wisdom you now possess, the compassion growing within you, and the faith strengthened through your journey will become part of the new life I am building. What comes next will not simply be a copy of the past. It will carry the beauty of redemption. So lift your eyes, my beloved child. Stop mourning as though loss has the final word. Release the belief that time has defeated your future. I am still working. I am still restoring. I am still creating beauty where brokenness once lived. Trust the gentle hands of your Father, for I am restoring what time tried to steal, and when my work is complete, you will look back with gratitude, knowing that my redemption reached farther than your greatest loss ever could. My beloved child, there are times when you believe your progress is too small to matter. You look at the distance still ahead of you instead of appreciating the ground you have already covered. You compare your quiet steps with the visible achievements of others, and you begin to wonder if your efforts have any value at all. But I want you to hear my heart today. I do not overlook the small steps you take in faith. Every act of trust, every quiet decision to obey, every moment you choose hope instead of despair is precious in my sight. Nothing done in faith is ever insignificant. The world often celebrates what is large, immediate, and impressive. It notices grand accomplishments, public victories, and dramatic moments of success. But I also delight in the hidden moments that few people ever see. I see the prayer you whispered before beginning your day. I see the choice you made to forgive someone who hurt you, even though it was difficult. I see the kindness you offered when no one was watching. I see the courage it took for you to rise again after disappointment tried to keep you on the ground. My beloved child, these quiet acts of faith are building a life that is stronger than you realize. Never believe that faith is measured only by extraordinary moments. Faith is often found in ordinary obedience. It is choosing to trust me when the answer has not yet arrived. It is continuing to love when your heart has been wounded. It is speaking words of encouragement while you are still waiting for your own breakthrough. It is taking the next step even when you cannot yet see the destination. These simple choices may appear small, but they carry eternal significance because they reveal a heart that continues to rely upon me. Imagine a stonecutter standing before a massive block of rock. He strikes it with his hammer again and again. After the first blow, nothing appears to happen. After the 10th blow, the stone still looks unchanged. Even after 50 strikes, there seems to be no visible result. But then, with one more swing, the rock suddenly splits open. Was it only the final strike that caused the breakthrough? No. Every single strike mattered. Each one weakened the stone until the moment of visible change finally arrived. My beloved child, your faithful steps are much like those strikes. You may not always see immediate results, but every act of obedience is shaping something greater than you can yet imagine. There have been days when you felt like giving up because progress seemed too slow. You prayed, yet the answer did not come. You worked diligently, yet the results appeared small. You tried to become more patient, more loving, and more faithful, yet you still noticed your imperfections. In those moments, discouragement whispered that your efforts were meaningless. But discouragement cannot see what I see. I witnessed the quiet transformation taking place within you. Every choice to trust me is strengthening your character. Every act of perseverance is deepening your faith. Every small victory is preparing you for greater responsibilities ahead. Do not despise the season of gradual growth. The tallest trees in the forest did not appear overnight. They grew steadily through changing seasons, strong winds, and countless days when no visible progress could be measured. Their roots reached deeper long before their branches reached higher. In the same way, I am strengthening the unseen foundations of your life. The patience you are learning today will support the blessings you receive tomorrow. The humility you are embracing now will protect you when greater opportunities come. The faith you practice in small things is preparing you to trust me with greater things. Sometimes you ask me for extraordinary opportunities while overlooking the ordinary assignments I have already placed before you. Yet it is often through faithfulness in the small moments that I prepare you for larger ones. The way you treat others today matters. The honesty you choose when no one is watching matters. The compassion you show to someone in need matters. The gratitude you express during seasons of waiting matters. Nothing offered to me with a sincere heart is ever wasted. My beloved child, stop measuring your journey only by visible results. Instead, measure it by your willingness to continue walking with me. Some of the greatest victories in your life will first appear as quiet decisions made in hidden places. One day, you will look back and realize that the life you now enjoy was built upon countless ordinary moments when you simply chose to trust me one more time. Whenever you begin to feel discouraged, remember the seed planted beneath the soil. It does not become a mighty tree in a single day. It grows patiently, one unseen moment at a time. Every drop of rain matters. Every ray of sunlight matters. Every day of quiet growth matters. So it is with your life. Every prayer matters. Every act of kindness matters. Every step of forgiveness matters. Every moment of faith matters. So keep walking, my beloved child. Do not allow impatience to steal the joy of becoming who I created you to be. Continue trusting me through the ordinary days as well as the extraordinary ones. Keep planting seeds of faith even when the harvest seems far away. I see every step you take, and I promise you this: not one step of faith has ever been unnoticed. I am building something beautiful through your faithful obedience, and in the right season, you will see that every small step was leading you exactly where my loving heart intended you to be. My beloved child, one of the greatest fears that tries to trouble your heart is the uncertainty of tomorrow. You wonder what the next season will bring. You ask yourself whether you will have enough strength, enough wisdom, or enough courage to face what lies ahead. Sometimes your thoughts race far into the future, imagining challenges that have not yet arrived. You try to prepare for every possibility because you believe that if you can predict what is coming, you will somehow be safe. But today I want to quiet those anxious thoughts with a truth that has never changed. Before you ever arrive at tomorrow, I am already there. There has never been a single day in your life that caught me by surprise. The moments that shocked you were already known to me. The opportunities that suddenly appeared were already part of my design. The storms that seemed to rise without warning were never beyond my sight. I stand outside the limits of time, seeing the beginning and the end together. What feels uncertain to you is completely visible to me. That is why you can trust me even when you cannot yet understand the road ahead. Imagine a loving father preparing a home before his family arrives. He checks every room, lights the lamps, prepares the table, and makes sure everything needed is already in place. When the family finally reaches the house after a long journey, they discover that every detail has been thoughtfully arranged before they ever step through the door. My beloved child, this is how I care for your future. Long before you reach tomorrow, I am already preparing what you will need. I am arranging circumstances, opening hearts, removing unseen obstacles, and placing unexpected blessings along your path. You often think that you are walking into unknown territory alone, but you never take a single step where my presence has not already gone before you. When you enter a new season of life, I am already there. When you face a difficult conversation, I am already there. When you stand before an opportunity you never expected, I am already there. Even when you walk through valleys you would never have chosen, my love has reached those places before your feet ever touched the path. There are blessings waiting for you that you cannot yet imagine. There are prayers that will be answered in ways more beautiful than you expected. There are friendships that have not yet begun, doors that have not yet opened, and moments of joy that will surprise your heart. Because you cannot see them today, you may assume they do not exist. But I see every one of them clearly. They are already part of the story I am writing for your life. There are also challenges ahead, for life in this world will always contain moments that test your faith. But do not fear them. I never send you into tomorrow without also providing the grace you will need to walk through it. The strength you require for future battles will arrive when the battle comes. The wisdom you need for future decisions will be given when the decision stands before you. I do not pour tomorrow's grace into today's hands because it would only tempt you to carry burdens you were never meant to bear before their time. Think about the Israelites as they journeyed through the wilderness. They were given manna one day at a time. They could not gather enough for every future need because I was teaching them to trust my daily provision. In the same way, I invite you to trust that what you need tomorrow will be waiting for you tomorrow. My faithfulness is not limited to one season of your life. It renews itself every day. Sometimes you hesitate because you fear making the wrong decision. You worry that one mistake will somehow remove you forever from my purpose. My beloved child, your future is not so fragile that one sincere step can destroy my plan. As you seek me with an honest heart, I am fully able to guide your path. Even when you make mistakes, my mercy remains greater. I know how to redirect your steps without abandoning my purpose for your life. Do not let fear of failure keep you from moving forward in faith. Remember how many times you have reached the end of a difficult season only to realize that I had already prepared the next one. You survived days you once believed would overwhelm you. You found strength you did not know you possessed because I placed it within you at the exact moment it was needed. The same faithful hand that carried you then will carry you again. I have never changed, and I never will. So, my beloved child, stop allowing tomorrow to steal the peace I have given you today. Lift your eyes from the uncertainty of the road and place them upon the certainty of my love. Walk forward without fear, knowing that no matter where life leads you, my presence has already prepared the way. Every step you take is known to me. Every need you will ever have is already seen by me. Every blessing I have promised remains secure in my hands. Trust me with a future you cannot yet see. Rest in the assurance that I have gone before you. I am not waiting at the end of your journey wondering how things will unfold. I am already there, preparing the way with wisdom, compassion, and perfect love. Walk confidently, my beloved child, because wherever tomorrow leads, you will never arrive before my grace does. My beloved child, there will be moments when circumstances try to convince you that my promises are too distant, too difficult, or too impossible to become reality. You will look around and see challenges instead of answers, delays instead of breakthroughs, and questions instead of certainty. In those moments, your heart may begin to wonder if the words I have spoken over your life will truly come to pass. But I want you to anchor yourself in this unchanging truth. My promises have never failed, and they never will. The world often builds confidence upon what it can immediately see. If everything appears favorable, hope grows stronger. If obstacles arise, hope begins to fade. But my promises were never meant to depend upon your circumstances. They rest upon my character, and my character never changes. Mountains may shift. Seasons may come and go. People may change their minds. Opportunities may appear and disappear. But my faithfulness remains the same through every generation. What I have spoken with love, I will fulfill with wisdom. Think of the stars that fill the night sky. Every evening they appear with remarkable consistency. Generations have looked upward and found them in their appointed places. They do not arrive by accident, nor do they forget their purpose. They continue their course because they move according to the order I established. My beloved child, if I faithfully sustain the heavens day after day, how much more will I remain faithful to the promises I have spoken over your life? My care for you is far greater than my care for the stars, and my faithfulness toward you is just as certain. There were promises you believed would be fulfilled much sooner than they were. As the waiting continued, doubt quietly entered your heart. You began asking whether you had misunderstood my direction. You wondered if perhaps the dream had been your own imagination. But remember what I have been teaching you throughout this journey together. Delay is not the same as denial. A promise growing beneath the surface has not disappeared simply because it is not yet visible. Just as a seed develops unseen before it breaks through the soil, my promises often mature in hidden places before they become visible blessings. Do not allow disappointment to become the interpreter of my intentions. Disappointment only sees the present moment. I see the complete story. There have been countless times when what seemed like an unanswered prayer eventually became the doorway to something far greater than you originally requested. If I had given you everything exactly when you first asked, you might have missed the deeper blessing I had already prepared. My wisdom is always guided by love, even when it unfolds differently than you expected. Remember the many times I have already been faithful to you. Recall the seasons when you thought you would never recover, yet I gently restored your strength. Remember the moments when you believed no answer would come, yet help arrived at exactly the right time. Think about the doors I opened after others had closed. Reflect on the peace I placed within your heart when your circumstances had not yet changed. These memories are not accidents. They are reminders that my faithfulness has already been active throughout your life. Imagine an old bridge built by a master craftsman many years ago. Thousands of travelers have crossed it safely through changing seasons, heavy rains, and strong winds. Every person who steps onto that bridge does so because they trust the one who built it. They do not inspect every piece of wood before taking another step. They move forward because the bridge has proven itself trustworthy over time. My beloved child, my promises are like that bridge. Countless generations have discovered my faithfulness before you, and now I invite you to place your confidence upon the same unchanging foundation. There will always be voices encouraging you to abandon hope. Some will tell you that trusting me is unrealistic. Others will insist that you should rely only upon what you can see. But faith has never depended upon perfect visibility. Faith grows stronger when it remembers my character more than it fears uncertain circumstances. Every promise I have spoken carries the full weight of my truth behind it. I do not speak empty words. I speak life, hope, wisdom, and purpose into the hearts of my beloved children. Do not become discouraged if you cannot yet see the complete fulfillment of every promise. Some blessings unfold gradually, preparing your heart along the way. Others arrive suddenly after long seasons of quiet preparation. In either case, my timing remains perfect because it is shaped by wisdom that reaches beyond what human understanding can measure. Trust that I know not only what you need, but also when you need it most. So, my beloved child, keep holding tightly to my promises even when the road feels uncertain. Let them become the anchor for your soul during seasons of waiting. Speak them over your heart when fear tries to steal your peace. Remember them when disappointment whispers that nothing will change. Build your confidence, not upon changing circumstances, but upon my unchanging love. I have never broken a promise, and I never will. The same faithful hands that formed you, guided you, comforted you, and carried you this far will continue leading you into the future I have prepared. Rest in that assurance today. My promises remain alive, my love remains constant, and my faithfulness will continue surrounding your life until every purpose I have spoken over you has reached its beautiful fulfillment. My beloved child, I know there are moments when your heart grows weary from waiting. You have carried hope for so long that it sometimes feels heavy instead of joyful. You have prayed the same prayers, trusted through countless seasons, and continued walking even when the path seemed endless. There are days when you quietly wonder if you have enough strength to keep believing. You ask yourself whether one more disappointment will finally become too much to bear. But I want you to hear my voice with fresh clarity today. Do not give up before the dawn. The darkest part of the night is never the end of the story. When you walk through a long night, it is easy to believe that morning will never come. Darkness has a way of making time feel slower. Every hour seems longer than it truly is. Every shadow appears larger than it really is. Yet no matter how long the night lasts, it has never been able to stop the sunrise. It may delay your view of the light, but it cannot prevent the light from coming. My beloved child, many of your difficult seasons have felt like endless nights, but they have never had the power to cancel the dawn I have already prepared for you. There have been moments when you came very close to giving up. Perhaps no one else knew how discouraged you had become. You continued fulfilling your responsibilities, speaking kindly to others, and moving through your days, but inside, your hope was growing faint. You wondered if your prayers still mattered. You questioned whether your waiting had any purpose. Yet even in those moments, I was sustaining you with strength you could not see. The fact that you are still here, still listening, still seeking my voice, is evidence that my hand has never stopped holding yours. Think of a miner searching deep beneath the earth for precious treasure. Day after day, he strikes the rock with his tools, yet nothing appears to change. The walls remain solid, and the work feels exhausting. If he stopped just a few strikes before reaching the hidden treasure, you would never know how close he truly was. My beloved child, there have been seasons when you believed nothing was happening, yet you were much closer to your breakthrough than you realized. Do not allow weariness to convince you to stop when my blessing may be just beyond the next faithful step. The enemy of your peace often uses discouragement because it quietly weakens your expectation. It whispers that tomorrow will look exactly like yesterday. It tells you that waiting is proof that nothing will ever change. But discouragement speaks from limited vision. I speak from eternal truth. I see what is already moving into place. I know the conversations, opportunities, healing, and restoration that are drawing near with each passing day. What you cannot yet see is already known to me. You not mistake slow progress for no progress. The greatest transformations often happen so gradually that they are difficult to recognize in the moment. The child grows day by day, though the changes are almost impossible to notice from one morning to the next. A mighty oak tree rises from a tiny seed through years of steady growth. A river shapes solid rock, not through sudden force, but through faithful persistence. In the same way, I have been working steadily within your heart. Your faith is deeper than it was before. Your compassion has grown. Your wisdom has increased. Your dependence upon me has become stronger. These are signs that my work is continuing, even if your circumstances have not yet fully reflected it. My beloved child, never measure my activity only by what your eyes can see. Some of my greatest works begin in hidden places. I prepare hearts before I reveal opportunities. I strengthen character before I expand influence. I establish deep roots before I allow visible fruit to appear. If you could see everything I am doing behind the scenes, you would understand why every season of waiting hath been filled with purpose. There will always be moments when you are tempted to settle for less than what I have promised because the journey feels long. Resist that temptation. Do not trade your hope for temporary comfort. Do not abandon your faith because the answer has taken longer than expected. Continue trusting my timing. Continue believing my promises. Continue taking one faithful step after another. Every act of perseverance becomes another declaration that your confidence rests in me rather than in changing circumstances. Imagine standing on a hillside just before sunrise. The sky is still dark, but a faint line of light begins to appear along the horizon. At first, it seems almost too small to notice. Yet with every passing moment, the light grows stronger until the darkness has completely disappeared. The sunrise never asks permission from the night. It simply arrives because its appointed time has come. My beloved child, your season of dawn will come in the same way. The darkness you have endured cannot stop the light I have already appointed for your life. So hold on a little longer. Lift your eyes one more time. Pray one more prayer. Take one more faithful step. Speak one more word of hope over your heart. I am closer than you realize, and the dawn is nearer than it appears. Do not give up before the morning breaks, because when you finally see the light I have prepared, you will understand that every moment of waiting was held securely within the loving hands of your faithful Father. My beloved child, there are days when you become discouraged because you focus on who you are today instead of who you are becoming. You notice your weaknesses more quickly than your growth. You remember your mistakes more easily than the victories I have already brought into your life. Sometimes you wonder if you are changing at all. But I want you to know that I am doing one of my greatest works in places that cannot yet be measured by human eyes. I am forming something beautiful within you, and every season you have walked through has become part of that sacred work. You often ask me to change your circumstances, and many times I do. But there are also moments when I first choose to transform your heart. The blessings I prepare for you are not only about where you will go or what you will receive. They are also about the person you are becoming along the journey. I care deeply about your character because your character will sustain you long after circumstances change. Success without wisdom can become a burden. Opportunity without humility can become a trap. That is why I lovingly shape your heart before I expand your path. Think of a sculptor standing before a massive block of marble. To everyone else, it appears to be nothing more than cold stone. But the sculptor sees something hidden within it. With patience, skill, and purpose, he begins removing pieces that do not belong. Every strike of the chisel seems harsh to those who do not understand the process. Yet the sculptor is not destroying the stone. He is revealing the masterpiece that has been waiting inside all along. My beloved child, I am that master sculptor. There have been moments in your life that felt painful, confusing, or unnecessary, but I have never been carelessly striking your heart. I have been gently removing fear, pride, bitterness, and doubt so that the beauty I placed within you from the beginning can become visible. There were seasons when you wondered why certain comforts disappeared. You questioned why familiar places changed or why people you depended upon were no longer beside you. Those experiences were not always easy, but many of them taught you to lean more fully upon me. They reminded you that lasting security is not found in temporary things. It is found in my unchanging presence. Every lesson has been shaping your heart into one that trusts me more deeply than before. I know there are parts of yourself that you wish would change more quickly. You desire greater patience, stronger faith, deeper peace, and a more consistent heart. Do not become discouraged because growth feels gradual. The most beautiful transformations rarely happen overnight. Just as a river slowly shapes the landscape through faithful persistence, I am steadily shaping your inner life. Every prayer you offer, every act of forgiveness you choose, every moment you surrender your fears to me becomes another part of the beautiful work unfolding within you. Do not compare your journey with someone else's. Each life I create carries its own purpose, its own timing, and its own path. A flower does not become discouraged because it blooms at a different time than the tree beside it. Both fulfill the purpose I designed for them. In the same way, you do not need to measure your growth by another person's progress. I know exactly what I am developing within you, and I never confuse one child's journey with another's. There are qualities I have been nurturing inside you that will become priceless in the seasons ahead. Compassion has grown because you have known sorrow. Patience has deepened because you have experienced waiting. Mercy has expanded because you have needed forgiveness. Wisdom has increased because you have learned through both victories and failures. These treasures cannot be purchased, and they cannot be rushed. They are formed through walking closely with me, day after day, season after season. Imagine a potter carefully shaping clay upon a wheel. The clay cannot always understand why it is being pressed, turned, and reshaped. Yet every movement of the potter's hands carries intention. He knows exactly what kind of vessel he is creating. If the clay could see the finished work from the beginning, it would no longer fear the process. My beloved child, my hands have never left your life. Even when circumstances seemed uncertain, I was still carefully shaping you. Nothing has happened outside my loving awareness, and nothing has been wasted. So do not become impatient with yourself. Do not allow temporary struggles to convince you that you are failing. Instead, remember that I am still working. I have not abandoned the masterpiece I began creating within you. Every lesson, every trial, every joy, and every quiet moment in my presence is becoming part of something far more beautiful than you can presently imagine. Lift your eyes beyond today's imperfections and see yourself through my loving gaze. I do not see only who you have been. I see who you are becoming. I see the courage growing where fear once lived. I see peace taking root where anxiety once ruled. I see hope rising where discouragement once lingered. I see a heart becoming more like mine with every passing season. My beloved child, trust the gentle work of my hands. Even when you cannot yet recognize every change, I am faithfully forming something beautiful within you. One day, you will look back and realize that every moment of surrender, every act of trust, and every step of obedience became part of the masterpiece I was creating all along. My beloved child, there are moments when you try to move forward, but your heart keeps turning back toward yesterday. You remember the mistakes you made, the opportunities you missed, the words you wish you had never spoken, and the moments that ended differently than you hoped. Sometimes the past feels like a heavy chain wrapped around your feet, making every step into the future more difficult than it should be. I know how often those memories return, whispering that your best days are behind you or that your failures have become your identity. But I have come to remind you today that the past was never meant to become your permanent home. I am calling you to walk forward without looking back in fear. There is a difference between remembering and remaining. I have given you memory so you can learn, grow, and become wiser. But I never intended for those memories to become prisons that keep you from embracing the future I have prepared. Wisdom carries lessons forward. Fear carries chains forward. I want you to hold on to the lessons while releasing the chains. Think of a traveler crossing a long bridge over a deep valley. The purpose of the bridge is to help the traveler reach the other side. Imagine if, halfway across, the traveler stopped walking and spent all his time staring back at the land he had already left behind. You would never reach the beautiful destination waiting ahead because his eyes remained fixed on what was already behind him. My beloved child, many of your fears have grown because you have spent too much time looking backward instead of trusting me to lead you forward. There were seasons that shaped you, but they do not define you. There were painful experiences that taught you important lessons, but they do not determine your future. There were disappointments that left deep marks upon your heart, but they are not the final words of your story. I am still writing new chapters, and they cannot be fully embraced while your hands remain tightly wrapped around yesterday. Perhaps you still carry regret over choices you made. You replay conversations in your mind, wondering how life might have been different if only you had acted another way. My beloved child, if sincere repentance has already brought those moments before me, why do you continue carrying what I have already forgiven? My mercy is not incomplete. My grace is not temporary. When I forgive, I invite you into freedom. Do not continue punishing yourself for what I have already covered with my love. There may also be wounds left by the actions of others. Someone's betrayal, rejection, or harsh words may still echo within your heart. Those memories can become so familiar that they begin shaping the way you see yourself and everyone around you. But I do not want your future relationships to be controlled by old pain. I am teaching you to forgive, not because the hurt was insignificant, but because I do not want bitterness to become the voice that guides your life. Forgiveness does not erase wisdom. It simply removes the poison that would otherwise continue harming your own heart. Imagine an eagle soaring high above the mountains. It does not carry the branch from which it first learned to fly. If it clung to that branch, it would never rise into the wide skies I created for it. Instead, it spreads its wings and trusts the wind beneath them. My beloved child, I have created you to soar into new seasons, not to remain attached to the branches of yesterday. It has served its purpose. Now it is time to embrace the future with confidence in my leading. Do not fear what lies ahead simply because something painful happened behind you. Every new day is not a repetition of your worst memories. I am constantly creating opportunities for fresh beginnings, deeper healing, stronger faith, and greater joy. The future is not a punishment waiting to happen. It is a gift I continue unfolding one step at a time. There will be moments when old fears try to return. They will remind you of previous disappointments and suggest that history will repeat itself. When that happens, do not answer those fears with your own strength alone. Answer them with the truth of my faithfulness. Remember how many times I have carried you through situations you thought would destroy you. Remember the peace I placed in your heart when everything around you felt uncertain. Remember the hope that returned after seasons of deep sorrow. If I remain faithful then, I will remain faithful now. My beloved child, the road before you is not empty. It is filled with my presence. I have already gone ahead to prepare each step. I am not asking you to walk into an unknown future by yourself. I am inviting you to walk beside me, hand in hand, leaving behind every fear that says you cannot begin again. Lift your eyes toward the horizon I have prepared for you. Let go of the burdens that belong to yesterday. Release the shame that no longer defines you. Lay down the regret that has already been redeemed by my mercy. Walk forward with courage, not because you know everything that lies ahead, but because you know the one who is leading you. My beloved child, the pages behind you have already been written, but the pages ahead are still being filled with my grace. Do not spend the rest of your life rereading old chapters when I am inviting you into a beautiful new one. Walk forward without looking back in fear and discover the peace, purpose, and joy that have been waiting for you all along. My beloved child, as you have walked with me through every season of this journey, I have been leading you toward one precious gift that the world cannot give and cannot take away. That gift is my peace. It is more than a pleasant feeling or a brief moment of calm. It is a living assurance that settles deep within your soul, reminding you that no matter what changes around you, my love remains unchanged. My peace is not fragile. It does not disappear when difficulties arise. It stands firm because it is rooted in my eternal presence. There will always be reasons to worry if you look only at the circumstances around you. The world changes quickly. Plans shift. People disappoint you. Unexpected challenges appear without invitation. If your heart depends upon perfect conditions before it can rest, you will spend much of your life searching for a peace that never lasts. But I have come to offer you something greater. I offer you my own peace, a peace that remains steady even when the winds of uncertainty begin to blow. Imagine a mighty castle built upon solid rock. Storms may strike its walls. Rain may pour without stopping. Fierce winds may shake everything around it. Yet the foundation remains unshaken because it was built upon something stronger than the storm itself. My beloved child, I desire your heart to become like that castle. Not because storms will never come, but because your foundation will rest upon me instead of upon changing circumstances. When your life is built upon my love, fear loses its power to rule your thoughts. You have spent many years trying to protect your own heart. You have carefully guarded yourself from disappointment, rejection, and failure. You believed that if you expected less, perhaps you would hurt less. You thought that controlling every detail might prevent future pain. But constant vigilance has exhausted your spirit. You were never created to carry the responsibility of guarding your own heart through fear alone. That is my work. My peace becomes the faithful guardian of your heart when you choose to trust me more than your anxieties. There are thoughts that knock upon the door of your mind each day. Some bring gratitude, kindness, and hope. Others arrive carrying fear, doubt, regret, or discouragement. Not every thought deserves to remain. Just because fear knocks does not mean you must invite it inside. My peace gives you the wisdom to recognize which voices reflect my truth and which ones only seek to steal your joy. The more your heart becomes filled with my promises, the less room fear will have to make itself at home. Think of a shepherd watching over his flock during the night. While the sheep sleep peacefully, the shepherd remains awake. He watches every movement, listens for every sound, and stands ready to protect what hath been entrusted to his care. The sheep do not remain safe because they stay awake worrying. They remain safe because the shepherd never stops watching over them. My beloved child, I am your shepherd. You do not need to spend every moment guarding your future with anxious thoughts. Rest in the confidence that my loving eyes never close, and my faithful hands never grow weary. There will still be days when sadness visits your heart. There will be moments when unanswered questions remain. Peace does not mean pretending those feelings do not exist. Peace means bringing every emotion into my presence without allowing it to become your master. You can grieve while remaining hopeful. You can wait while remaining confident. You can face uncertainty while remaining secure in my love. This is the peace I have been patiently teaching you throughout your journey. Remember how many times I have already calmed the storms within your heart. There were seasons when you thought you would never smile again, yet joy slowly returned. There were nights when sleep seemed impossible, yet I gently gave your mind rest. There were burdens that felt unbearable until you placed them into my hands. Every one of those moments was a reminder that my peace is not an empty promise. It is a living gift that continues strengthening you every day. As you move forward into the days ahead, protect the quiet places where my peace grows. Begin your mornings by remembering my presence before the worries of the day begin speaking. Pause throughout your day to thank me for the blessings surrounding you, even the small ones. And each evening by releasing every unfinished concern into my hands instead of carrying it into tomorrow. These simple acts of trust create space for my peace to settle more deeply within your heart. My beloved child, do not fear the future. Do not allow yesterday's disappointments to overshadow tomorrow's possibilities. I have walked beside you through every chapter of your life, and I will continue walking beside you through every chapter still to come. My peace will stand watch over your heart when fear tries to enter. My love will remain your refuge when uncertainty appears. My faithfulness will continue surrounding you when your own strength feels small. So breathe deeply in the assurance of my presence. Rest in the safety of my promises. Walk forward with a quiet heart, knowing that you are held securely in the hands of your loving Father. My peace will guard your heart today, tomorrow, and for every step of the beautiful journey that still lies ahead. My beloved child, as you have journeyed with me through these moments together, I want you to pause and reflect on where you were when this message first found you. Think about the questions that filled your heart, the burdens resting upon your shoulders, and the quiet longing that brought you here. You may have believed you simply chose to listen. You may have thought it was another ordinary moment in an ordinary day. But I tell you now with all the tenderness of a loving father, this message was never an accident. It was always my hand reaching toward yours. Long before this day arrived, I knew the exact season of your life in which you would hear these words. I knew the battles you would be facing. I knew the tears you would cry, the prayers you would whisper, and the fears you would carry in silence. I also knew the hope I wanted to awaken within you. That is why I gently guided your steps here. My love has always been pursuing you, even in ways you did not recognize. There were moments in your life when you believed I had become distant. You searched for me in dramatic signs while overlooking the quiet ways I continued caring for you. I spoke through unexpected kindness. I comforted you through peaceful moments that arrived without explanation. I strengthened you when you believed your own strength had disappeared. I surrounded you with reminders of my faithfulness, even when your heart struggled to recognize them. My beloved child, I have been reaching for you every single day. Think of a father standing at the edge of a shoreline, watching his young child learn to walk across the sand. The child becomes distracted by the waves, the wind, and the many footprints surrounding them. Yet every time the child looks up, the father is still there with open arms, smiling, patiently waiting, never moving away. The child may wander for a little while, but the father's loving gaze never leaves them. My beloved child, I have always been that father. No matter how many distractions surrounded your life, my eyes never left you. My arms have always remained open. As you listened to my voice throughout this journey, I was not simply giving you comforting words. I was reminding you of your true identity. I wanted you to remember that you are deeply loved, carefully guided, and never abandoned. I wanted you to see yourself through my eyes instead of through your fears. I wanted you to understand that your waiting has purpose. Your pain can be redeemed. Your future is secure, and your life carries meaning far beyond what you presently understand. Perhaps there were moments while listening when certain words seemed to speak directly into your heart. Perhaps something stirred within you that you could not fully explain. That was not coincidence. My spirit has a gentle way of touching the deepest places within your soul. I know exactly what your heart needs because I created it. I know where healing is still unfolding. I know where hope needs to be strengthened. I know where peace needs to take deeper root. Every word that reached your heart was part of my loving invitation to draw closer to me. Do not leave this moment believing it ends here. This conversation between us is not limited to these words. I desire to walk with you every day. Speak with me when you wake in the morning. Invite me into your decisions throughout the day. Bring me your gratitude, your questions, your victories, and your disappointments. You never need to wonder whether I am listening because my heart is always turned toward you. Every sincere prayer reaches me. Every whispered cry is heard. Every joyful thanksgiving delights my heart. Remember everything I have reminded you throughout this journey. When fear returns, remember that my voice is greater. When waiting feels long, remember that my timing is filled with love. When you feel weak, remember that my strength becomes your strength. When you feel alone, remember that my presence has never left your side. When yesterday tries to hold you back, remember that I am leading you toward a future filled with hope. Carry these truths with you, for they are not temporary encouragements. They are reflections of my unchanging heart. There will be new mornings ahead, new opportunities, new lessons, and new blessings. Some days will be joyful. Others will require perseverance. But in every season, my beloved child, remember this moment. Remember that I reached for you before you ever reached for me. Remember that my love has always moved first. Remember that even when you could not see my hand, it was gently guiding your steps. To walk forward with confidence. Let your heart rest in the certainty that you are known, cherished, and deeply loved. Let every fear surrender to the truth of my faithfulness. Let every burden become lighter as you place it into my hands. And whenever you begin to wonder again whether I am near, remember these words. This message was never merely a collection of sentences. It was my heart reaching across every doubt, every sorrow, and every lonely moment to remind you that you have always been my beloved child, and I will never stop reaching for you. My beloved child, we have walked together through many moments in this journey. You have listened as I reminded you that you are not forgotten, not abandoned, and not alone. I have spoken to your fears with peace, to your weariness with rest, to your questions with hope, and to your future with promises that will never fail. Now, as this message draws to its close, I want these final words to remain deeply planted within your heart long after this moment has passed. Never forget who you are. You are not the sum of your failures. You are not defined by your worst day, your greatest disappointment, or the opinions of those who could not see the treasure I placed within you. You are my beloved child. That truth has not changed through your victories, and it has not changed through your struggles. It was true before you understood it. It is true today, and it will remain true for every tomorrow I give you. There will still be days when life feels uncertain. There will be mountains that seem too high and valleys that seem too deep. There will be moments when fear tries to speak again and circumstances attempt to steal your peace. When those moments come, do not measure my presence by what your eyes can see. Measure it by what I have promised you. I have promised never to leave you. I have promised to guide your steps. I have promised to strengthen you when you are weak, comfort you when you are hurting, and surround you with my love through every season of your life. Remember everything I have gently taught you. Lay down the burdens you were never meant to carry. Trust me even when you cannot see the whole path. Do not fear closed doors, because I am opening better ones. Do not lose heart while you are waiting, because my timing is filled with love. Do not believe that your story is over because one chapter was painful. I am the author of your life, and I am still writing beautiful pages that you have not yet read. When you wake tomorrow morning, wake with hope instead of fear. When you take your next step, take it with confidence instead of doubt. When you meet another person carrying unseen burdens, let the love I have poured into your heart overflow into theirs. Become a source of kindness in a world that often forgets compassion. Become a voice of hope where despair has settled. Become a reminder that my light still shines, even in the darkest places. Do not wait for perfect circumstances before choosing joy. Joy grows wherever my presence is welcomed. Do not wait until every prayer has been answered before giving thanks. Gratitude opens your heart to recognize my faithfulness already surrounding you. Continue walking with me every day. Speak to me honestly. Listen for my gentle whisper. Trust that I am always working, even when my hands are hidden from your sight. And if one day you find yourself feeling weary again, return to the truths I have spoken over your life today. Remember that I counted every tear. Remember that I never stopped calling your name. Remember that I have gone before you. Remember that my peace will guard your heart. Above all, remember that my love for you has no ending. Nothing you face tomorrow will ever be greater than the love with which I hold you today. Before we part, I place one more invitation before your heart. If my words have become a source of healing, peace, and renewed faith for you, then let that same hope continue reaching countless other hearts that are still searching for my voice. I say to you, my beloved child, become a faithful sower in this mission of spreading my word across the world. As my living promise declares, whoever sows generously will also reap generously, and I speak that blessing over every willing heart. If I have moved you today, respond with super thanks, become a member, or give through the PayPal donation link in the video description or the QR code shown in this video. Your gift is more than support. It becomes a light that reaches someone standing in darkness, a seed that grows into a harvest of transformed lives. Every act of generosity becomes another candle lit in a world longing for hope. I will remember every cheerful giver, strengthen their hands, provide for their needs, and fill their hearts with my peace as they partner in this work. Let your giving become an act of worship, your generosity become a testimony, and your obedience become a blessing that echoes into eternity. Do not delay what I have placed upon your heart. Rise in faith, sow your seed today, and help carry my message of love to every soul still waiting to hear that they are my beloved child. Now go forward with courage. Walk with confidence. Love without fear. Hope without hesitation. Trust without wavering. I am with you in every sunrise, every storm, every quiet moment, and every new beginning. My hand will hold you when you feel weak. My wisdom will guide you when you feel uncertain. My peace will surround you when the world becomes restless. My love will remain your home forever. Go in peace, my beloved child. I am with you always. Amen.